Welcome back to Ben's Garage. Just trying to get my lighting sorted out here. I think we'll have to just make do. Got a new setup tonight. I've got the big camera on the go. You're going to have to let me know if audio's coming through okay. And if the picture looks alright. Because from what I can tell on there, I'm not sure. I might have to... Is it... It's not jittery or anything?
No, it's alright to me.
Are you getting volume as well? Oh, well, we seem to be working. Yeah, so I say new setup. We've got the main camera on, so I'm doing audio through the main camera. Hopefully it's not peaking or anything. Who knows? But yeah, so welcome back to another live stream. I've got to work out where I need to sit. I can adjust all the audio, but we'll just let it go as it is. I was going to have a different, even more different setup tonight, but I'm going to leave that. We're going to do a Christmas live stream closer to Christmas, because I say live streams, I'll try and do them once a month now. Nice one. Sound and video is working well. If the audio does start getting a bit funny, I'll have to just move back from the... I can turn it down actually. Anyway, yeah, so we do live streams once a month. Try to anyway. So I'll do a live stream nearer Christmas, and we'll try and get set up in the other room. A bit more of a change of scenery for you. But yeah, so I thought because normally I do live streams on this little camera, and I use this microphone. But I've got a new capture card on the computer, so the HDMI works on the big camera, so everything's all in. I've not got to mess about with separate audio. All the audio comes through the camera, so hopefully be a bit of a one-stop shop. Because the plan is, at some point, when we get power up in the garage, and when it's not too cold, I'll do live streams from the garage. I can take the laptop up there. We're going to run in internet up to the garage, so I'm just trying to get my little area nice and tidy down here. I'll say, because normally before I would have had the camera sat in front of the screen, but now the camera's sat to the side, so it's a bit awkward because I've got to remember to keep looking at the camera. Trials and tribulations. But yeah, anyway, so can't remember what we was talking about last time. Same old, same old. Yeah, we're still locked down till the 2nd of December, I believe. Tina keeps me informed what's going on with all this lockdown malarkey. As I've said in previous videos, it doesn't really affect us because we don't really go out. But yeah, so it's like Tina said, she's going to get all the shopping done before lockdown finishes, because when lockdown does finish, everyone and their mother will be out. And anyway, shan't get into it too much, because I did a video in the garage explaining that we was on lockdown, how it was affecting us, and I just got a torrent of abuse in the comments. Not, you know, it was probably abuse from people that have never watched our videos before. I say all you regular lot out there seem to just, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I got a lot of stick saying how the virus isn't real and it's this and it's that, and I'm spreading all sorts of bull crap, but it's people like me that are spreading rumours. And if you'd watched the video, it was, we're in lockdown, this is how it's affecting us, whether you believe it or not. Anyway, so I won't go into that too much tonight. I've got a little bit of a tipple going on here. Bit of a Christmas drink for the ladies. But anyway, we'll drink it anyway. I think it was probably this time last year, Mum and Dad gave us a bottle of Bailey's that one of my sisters left out here. And it's been in the fridge all this time. I thought, do you know what, tonight I'm going to have some. So, hence, there we go. It's not Bailey's, but it's the same thing. Pinky Stinky 2. Hi. Yeah, so the garage heater, we've not actually fired it up yet. Hopefully this week, all the diesel got delivered. We've got red diesel in the tank. We've got the pump all up and running. We filled the digger up the other day. I just backed the digger up to the door because we've got no power in the garage at the minute, so I've had to fire up the compressor. Compressor? No, I didn't. I fired up the generator. Well, Tina fired it up. I backed it up to the door. She flicked the switch, pumped diesel, flicked the switch off, and off I went on my merry way. Absolutely spot on. So now we've got diesel up there. The plan is I'm going to, I think Thursday the weather's not, tomorrow we're out in the garden doing some bits and pieces. Thursday the weather's not supposed to be quite so good, so I'm going to go and spend a bit of time in the garage. We've got the Audi back in the garage, so hopefully I can get in there, get that jacked up, and we'll make a start on the Audi. And but I thought, well, while I'm up there, I'm going to get the heater running. It does say that it needs to be earthed. You know, when you plug it into your power source, it's got to be earthed. Now the generator isn't earthed. So what I've done, there is an earth post on the front. So what I've done, I've made a lead, and I'm going to whack a metal stake in the ground outside the garage. And it's an old battery charger lead, so I'll run that off of the generator, connect it up to the post, and that should be earth then. And we'll give the old heater a blast. It's not really got cold enough yet for it, but have you made more of your off-road track? Now the off-road track, I filled all the holes back in. So we've got out on the digger, and because the car that we use for off-roading is in bits at the moment, we're potentially selling it. Somebody is interested, but of course he was going to fix it and then see about buying it off us. But we're locked down. He can't get over it to fit. He's only 10 miles away, but he can't get to us to fix it. So I don't really want to be taking the TD-V8 round off-roading. I'm not driving the Panda. If that's it, even if Tina would let me. But so I've filled the holes back in the field so that it's easier for cutting the grass. We've still got the rock thing into the woods. But at some point, I've got a couple of engines out there, and a bit of a project I want to do in the garage is building an off-road buggy. So once that comes, if that, you know, comes to be, then we'll see about the track again. You know, we've got the digger. I can always dig out some more holes or whatever. But for now, I've just filled them all back in because it's damn sight easier for cutting the grass when there's no holes everywhere. So that's what's happening with the track. I might even move the rocks actually, because if it's going to be like if we're going to have like an off-road buggy or something like that to bez around, I'm not really going to want rocks to climb over. So I might just push those to one side so that we can just get round them. But yeah, so that's what's happening there. We've had a few trees go over in the woods because we've had some super strong winds, and I got the grapple on the digger. There was a lot of trees up on the side edge of the woods that we'd pulled out, and with a view to cutting them up or dispersing them around the property, because we've got a lot of land. We can lose stuff like that. You know, we're not going to keep taking it up the dump. Sod that for a game of soldiers. Yeah. So I dragged them all out of the woods, and they was sort of stacked there. Of course, all the grass grew up, and we never did them. So when I had the grapple on, I've pulled all those out. I've put them right over onto the boundary and stacked them up. And I've done the same. There was some trees on this side of the woods had come down, and because there's a nice path that goes through the woods on this corner, and but you couldn't get through it because the trees had sort of all fallen over. So I've dragged them out. I've put them down the bottom of the field. At some point we'll get them cut up and moved about. So it is quite nice through the woods with the track and everything. And it'll be quite, be like a nice off-road track for a little buggy or something. If we ever get round to building it. So we've got a few other projects for the garage for a start. But yeah, so the garage wall is almost halfway. Dad was going to come over on the Thursday. We got locked down on the Friday. I can't remember what date it was now, but it was a couple of weeks ago. We was due to get locked down midnight Thursday, and he was due to come over on Thursday and do some more wall. And Tina's got a bad shoulder, and because physio comes out to me once a week, I said to him, Tina's got a bad shoulder, so if you've watched our other videos, you'll know that she's had her shoulder looked at. He comes out to her once a week and he says to her, don't mix up concrete or cement, because we've got the cement mixer. You're not doing it by hand, but so I said to Dad, I don't mind mixing it up, but because it's been so wet, I can't get to where the cement mixer is in the wheelchair. So I said we'll put him off for a while, if we can. And of course then we got locked down, didn't we? So the wall is almost halfway. It's tied into the old wall, or the old wall's tied into the new wall, so it's super strong. But because we've been locked down, I said we'll just move all the stuff that we got in there, push it back, and we'll get the Audi back in there. And that's the plan for Thursday. I think I'm going to get in there and have a look at the Audi. I've got to find out where it's leaking. It's intercooler hose, or it might even have popped the intercooler, I don't know. But which Range Rover? The TD-V8 is going very nicely. The TD6 is still sat there waiting for someone to fix it. It was going to be me fixing it, but as I said earlier, there's a chap who's interested in buying it, and he's ordered the parts. He's got the parts. He phoned me up and said, I've got the parts, and he said, when it's nice, I'll come over and fit them. And of course then we got locked down, so that's put paid to that temporarily. But yeah, the TD-V8 is going very nicely. It's due for its CT, which MOT, next month. Hopefully it'll go straight through that without any problems. Yeah, it'd be nice, and then that's for 2 years, the CT. I've just got a letter through on the old Range Rover. Cheeky sods. That's a bill for €160 because the car puts out, it's an emissions tax. I was sort of expecting it, but not, because when we bought the car, obviously I was in the wheelchair. We went into the showroom in the wheelchair. We paid for it while I was in the wheelchair, but they've not noted it. When you register a car, if you register it that you're disabled, it goes down on the cart grey, which is like your logbook. Because they didn't do that, I'm now getting billed €160 a year because it's a high emissions car. But apparently they're stopping it after this year, so I've tried to get in touch, because the logbook people, they're all online now. You used to be able to go up to the prefecture and deal with it face to face with a person. Now it's all online. I've sent a message after message. I've emailed the garage where we bought the car, nothing back. So I think I'm going to end up having to pay it. And then hopefully next year they're supposed to be stopping that tax, and I won't have to pay it again. Because what I was trying to do was trying to update my cart grey, saying that I'm disabled. I've got an invalidity card, which is here somewhere, which is sort of a bit like your blue badge. Let's have a look. Can't remember which one it is now. Cart mobility and cart mobility inclusion. So if you're in possession of these, you can park in a disabled spot. They expire in 2028. But yeah, but the garage didn't put me down as being disabled. It doesn't make any difference because, you know, I can still drive the car. I don't have to have it adapted. But they didn't put us down as being disabled. So now, because if you, yeah, I'll get to the point in a minute. If you're down on the category as being handicapped, disabled, you're exempt from paying that tax for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but so yeah, we bought the car. It'll be 2 years in next May that we've had the car, but the CT was done prior to that, so we've got to get the CT done. But we didn't get charged for it in the first year. Now I think that might be because we bought it in May and we didn't own it in January, whereas on this letter it states that I've owned the car from the 1st of January 2020, so we're paying for a whole year. But so I can see I'm going to end up having to pay it, and then hopefully next year I'll have to get in touch with the it's called ants.gov, which is, I can't remember what it stands for now, but it's something to do with the title of your car. But you lot probably don't know, but French websites are crap. They really are bad, and people just don't get back to you. You know, it says contact us. Well, it doesn't say contact us, it says it in French, but and very rarely do they get back to you. They're a bloody nightmare. But anyway, so I will try and get it changed, but I don't want to have to pay the fee for re-registering the car. So if that's the case, you've got to work out, you know, what's going to be cheaper. But yeah, so I don't know, there's always something in there. Yeah, so you'll have to tell me if this new camera setup is any good. It looks alright on my screen. From what I can see up there and over there, the screen on the camera looks very good. But you don't get the quality on the HDMI from the screen to the computer. But I think the audio's okay. I've not had any complaints yet. So pretty much car-wise, in the garage, we've not really done much, to be honest. We had the Audi in the garage. Dad says, right, I'm going to come over and start the wall. So we took the Audi out of the garage, started the wall. Now we're locked down. Audi's back in the garage. I need to get it jacked up on axle stands and get underneath the car. And I'm hoping that it's an intercooler hose underneath that goes up to the intercooler. And I'm hoping that I can get to it without taking the bumper off. It's not a big deal taking the bumper off of an Audi, because you have to take the front off to change the cam belt. So they're quite straightforward. It's just a bit time consuming. But if I can do it without that, and then I've got to find out what's causing it. It's overboosting. There's a couple of things that can cause overboosting on these Audis, same as with Volkswagens. The first one is the variable vanes on the turbo. They've got like it's all done on vacuum pressure on the wastegate. The ECU tells the engine it wants more boost, and there's like a little valve on the bulkhead with vacuum hoses which go off to the turbo and off elsewhere to get their vacuum from somewhere. And so the two faults, one is the turbo, the vanes in the turbo get absolutely choked up with carbon and they can't move. I'm not sure that it's that, because when the car's running and you switch it off, the wastegate it closes right up. I have got a pressure thing that I can put a vacuum on and see if it is working and moving cleanly. Or the other fault can be, there's two valves. There's one which is the vacuum boost pressure thing, which gets a signal from the ECU so that it alters the vanes on the turbo via the wastegate for more boost or less boost, because as the veins open and close you get more or less boost. I can't remember which way round it is, but obviously when the veins are open you're getting less boost. So it could either be the veins are stuck or it could be this valve, and there is another valve, but I think that's just like a boost leak off type thing. So hopefully it won't be too difficult to fix. Excuse me. Now I can't edit that out, I'm afraid. I did get a bollocking on one of my videos. It might have been on the other channel actually, on the Mad Dog Farm channel. I did a video and I belched, and I said to Tina when I did it, I said, oh, I'll have to edit that bit out. And I never did. I got a bit carried away while I was editing and left it in. Because of course Mum and one of my sisters was moaning that I belched. I'm sure they've belched before. But anyway, so I can't edit it out because we're live. You just have to put up with it, I'm afraid. I'm a pig. No, I'm not. I just gaseosa this drink.
Rubbish.
I'll tell you what it is. Tonight, the Hobbit made us toad in the hole with mashed potatoes. Now, I don't think there's any foreign people watching. Well, I don't know if there's any foreigners watching tonight that don't know what toad in the hole is. If you're from the UK, you'll be well familiar with it. I think she might have mixed in some extra bubbles into the batter because it's, you know, pretty gassy. You what?
Rubbish.
She thinks it's rubbish, but anyway. Nice toad in the hole. Oh, it was very nice. Now the reason we're doing a live stream tonight is because I've always been doing them on Sunday nights, thinking that, you know, telly's normally crap on a Sunday. People don't go out on a Sunday. But then I've had a few people say, oh, if you did it on a different night, you might get more views. Well, looking at the numbers at the moment, it doesn't look like it. Says we've got 5 concurrent viewers at the moment. But I thought we'll give it a whirl. I was planning on doing it on a Wednesday night, but there's a program that I use called TubeBuddy. I don't know if any of you are aware of TubeBuddy. It's like a plug-in for YouTube, and they analyse all your numbers and this, that, and the other. And it's good for descriptions and keywords. They give you a score for all your keywords and descriptions and titles and all that kind of thing. So it is quite good. They've got a new feature, and it tells you, they analyse when your subscribers and the people watching your videos are most on YouTube. Because if I release a video, if I get a lot of views sort of straight away in the first hour, and then in the second hour and third hour, that's when YouTube start pushing your video to other people. So TubeBuddy have suggested that I release videos Sunday at 12 o'clock Central European time. So midday in France, midday I release a video. Now it said for live streaming, the best time that it had analysed all my numbers, the best time for live streaming will be a Tuesday evening at 1900 hours Central European time. And I thought, well, that's 6 o'clock in the UK, and if a lot of my viewers are in the UK, they're going to be eating their dinner, possibly. So I thought, well, we'll go for 7 o'clock, which is 8 o'clock our time, and we'll see what happens. So this is a bit of a test, really. See how it plays out. If it doesn't work, then we'll go back to Sundays. It's as simple as that. But I think I can't remember the last time I did that. I kept saying that we're going to do a live stream, and then we had massive storms, and the power was a bit unpredictable. I didn't know if I was going to get cut off with the old power cuts and stuff. So I had one planned for that night, so I had to quickly put out a community post saying I'm going to have to cancel it, and I think we did have a power cut that night as well. And then another night I had it planned, and I don't know what happened then. Can't remember. No, I really can't remember. Anyway, so here we are, Tuesday, the 17th of November, and it's nearly Christmas.
I knew you were going to say that.
All year I've been saying, oh well, it'll soon be Christmas. I say it, well, I don't say it all the time, but quite often. But it really nearly is Christmas. 40 odd days. Let me ask Siri. How many days till Christmas?
It's 38 days until then.
It's 38 days until Christmas. Oh yes, I love a bit of Christmas. I suppose I'm a big kid. I still get a Santa sack. I better not say too much because I don't know who's watching and who believes in Santa. But anyway, yeah, I still get a Santa sack. Obviously it's from Tina. But yeah, I've always liked Christmas. And I think this year we'll be on our own again. They're talking about the December the 2nd for releasing lockdown, but we're not, we don't quite know how it's going to go one way or the other. They'll either keep us locked down till next year, or it'll be a free-for-all. And if it is a free-for-all, because I'm vulnerable, I'm a vulnerable person.
And I'm a miserable hermit.
I think it's just best that I stay at home and don't go anywhere, mixing with general riffraff. Not that I don't go out anyway. I don't go shopping. I've not been out shopping since I've been in the wheelchair. But yeah, I think we're going to end up having a quiet Christmas at home. It won't be quiet Christmas, but it'll be a Christmas at home. Just the four of us, I should say, because the dogs. Mustn't forget the dogs. Poor old Ludo's been suffering a bit today. Not quite sure why. I think he's had an allergic reaction to something. But last time Tina took him to the vets, and he had a couple of injections, and what she said one of them was for allergies. And I seem to remember that she said something last time about antihistamines. She might not have done, but I think she did, yeah. So today, his head all sort of wasn't as bad as last time. Last time he looked like a Shar-Pei.
So that was the first time when he was stung.
Well, he's not had it again since.
The last time I took him.
We don't know that he was stung.
The first time we do.
How do we know?
Because he wasn't taking the other stuff.
Anyway, he blew up like a Shar-Pei, and today he just got lumps on the top of his head, and he got lumps on his legs as well. I was like, oh dear, here we go, another €200 at the vets. I said to Tina, I said, can dogs take human antihistamines? So that was it. Out comes Dr. Google. You can give a dog antihistamines as long as it's not got... What was that stuff?
PFCAs or something. It was a particular... Oh God, what was it?
Well, it doesn't matter. There's something in some antihistamine is just antihistamine. It's for congestion and stuff.
That's right.
If it's an antihistamine that is just antihistamine and it tells you on the back or the thing, that's safe for dogs. So I broke a tablet in half and we popped it in a little treat for him. But there's another type of antihistamine which has got a decongestant in it, and that's not good for dogs at all. So obviously we checked first, and he's perked right up. So hopefully, touch wood, he's all right. Trouble is with Ludo, with Kira, when she's a bit under the weather, she goes off her food. Now Ludo, doesn't matter what state he's in, ever. He's got to go to the vets or this, that, and the other. He never ever goes off his food. I said to Tina that the day that he goes off his food, I'm going to have to put the bucket on the digger because I know I'm going to have to dig a big hole. Because he'll end up in it by the end of the day. But, yeah, so you can't really go on that on his appetite because he's always bloody after food. Anyway, we think we've sorted that out now, so that's that little trip to the vets saved. Yes, this is going down rather well. Very nice. That's me on the telly. I was a little bit larger then in the face. I've not been on a diet, but it's not a diet as such. It's just cutting down your portion sizes, and I've lost over 10 inches off my gut, which I think is quite good. The old wheelchair doesn't creak so much anymore. I've noticed that, but it seems to have worked. Now the last few days, portions were. You've got to really focus on portion control. I don't know why it is. When I cook or when Tina cooks, it doesn't matter. Whether it's because we use like big saucepans and that, and it don't look like a lot in there, and we'll chuck a bit more in, and then when you serve it up, it's like, oh my god. But we are both getting better at it, so that helps. But yeah, so we're not eating the rubbish anymore. Having said that, I have requested a few things for Christmas, which might be classed as rubbish. Not rubbish, junk food. Not even junk food, unhealthy food, or snacks. Don't have snacks. That's, try not to have anything of an evening. So once you've had your dinner, that's it. Job done. Bish bash bosh. And it seems to have worked. Seems to have slowed down a little bit around the old gut. So what I might have to do is get back on the old eggs again. I did the old egg fast diet.
For the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. Oh God. Tina's just shouted out, I've got to do the egg fast diet for the next 4 weeks, and then I should be prepared, ready for Christmas to put it all back on again. But we've not bought a lot of stuff for this year. Last year, the last few years, 2015, we had everybody at the house. There was 13 of us. So we went a bit silly, bought loads of presents, loads of food, and we had everyone there till after the new year. And I think everybody was getting fed up with food. We was putting the food out on the table, but every meal, we was eating less and less. Then the year after, we just had mum and dad and one of my sisters with her kids. And then the year after that, we had just my sister and her kids. Last year, it was just the two of us. And I think this year, it'll be just the two of us. And so we've not gone mad at all ordering food and stuff like that. But yeah, just be nice. Nice quiet Christmas. Bit of snow would be nice. I'm not sure if we're due any snow.
It's still touch and go on the forecast.
Tina said it's touch and go for snow. It'd be nice to have a white Christmas. But I know a lot of people don't like Christmas, so I won't go on about it too much.
You can be saved.
Yeah, bunch of humbugs.
I used to have
Tina was a humbug when I first met Tina. She was like, oh, Christmas. But now, she's as bad as me. But, yeah, so things are moving along very slowly. We've been out in the with the tractor. I did put a video out where we was rotavating. Last bit of tillage before spring. We tilled up 2 beds this side of the polytunnel and 3 beds the other side of the polytunnel. They've just been churned up because we was having mustard as a cover crop, and you have to do some before the mustard plants get to seed. You have to chop them down, churn them into the ground. So I just went over with the rotavator and churned them in. There are still stalks sticking up, but we will be rotavating it again in the spring so that it's ready for next year, planting. But the bed that I've done here, this side of the polytunnel, we've actually planted garlic in that, and we've put some winter onions in. Now, they're called winter onions because you put them in now and then they stay in the ground over winter, and then they come up sort of at the very end of spring, start of summer. So there you've got like a good early harvest of onions, and then you obviously plant your spring ones in the spring, and then they're ready sort of at the end of the summer. That's the idea. But we put in 250 garlic bulbs. Now potentially you can get, you know, that will grow, and you could get 10 cloves to a bulb. You know, we've planted cloves, haven't we?
Yeah, we planted the cloves.
We've planted cloves. They grow into a bulb, and then each bulb potentially has up to 10 cloves in it. So we could potentially have 2,500 cloves of garlic for next year. But we do use a lot of garlic. We use a lot of onions as well. CV Gator on the 3.6 looks like fun. Yeah, I've never done one of those. Obviously, all the older Range Rovers I've had was solid axles. Then I had the P38. I think that had drive shafts. Obviously, the L322, the TD6 and the TD-V8 have both got drive shafts. But yeah, it'll probably be a job that I have to do at some point. But we don't really do the miles in our car, and it is mint underneath, absolutely spotless. It's been well looked after, and we don't get the rust problem in France either. Now the TD6 we've got is a UK car. That's as rotten as a pear. Well, it's not rotten, but things like the brake lines and stuff like that, and there is a hole in the sill at the back. But on the TD-V8 there's no rust whatsoever, and it is really clean underneath. Somebody did ask me to do a video about the underside of the car. I've not done that yet. But yeah, it'll be an easy enough job. Oh, well, so you're gonna have to take all the well, have you done the bottom ball joint and you've put it all back together, and now you've got to take it all apart again? At least you know how to take it apart. And when I worked at Toyota, I had a job to do on a V8 Land Cruiser. It had been converted to gas, and it kept dropping a cylinder, and the cat on one side of it was glowing cherry red. We couldn't work out what it was, and the workshop, there was only 3 of us in the workshop. There's the workshop foreman, the other mechanic, and me. And I looked under the bonnet of it, and I thought, oh, where to start? And the foreman, he just said, just keep taking bits off until you get to the bit you want. It's like, oh, bloody hell. It was a good 2-day job. Well, it wasn't, you know, I wasn't rushing. But yeah, I'll just have that attitude with everything now. Just keep taking bits off. And yeah, a gearbox mega flush. Very nice. I'll say we'll, at some point on our TD-V8, we'll do the gearbox, change the filter, change the oil. I don't know how many miles we've done in it now. Well, we've not done many miles in it, but it's not done many miles itself. I think it's about 132,000 kilometres, I think, which is, let me have a quick look. 132. In miles. That's 82,000 miles, our Range Rover, the TD-V8. So it's not really done a lot, to be honest. And there's another reason why we bought it. Low mileage, it's been well looked after. But yeah, I'm planning on, it's probably going to be next year now, get the Range Rover in, give it a full service. I noticed the brakes are squeaking a little bit. Yes, make full use of facilities while the boss is away. Nice one. I think first garage I worked at, they went away on holiday, and I made full use of the time. Well, I didn't, because I put it through the books. I worked on my dad's car. He had a Mazda 626, and oil light kept coming on, and it was squeaking its head off. I was like, oh shit, what's going on here? So I took it into work. We used to use the old Forte motor flush. Put a tin of that. I put 2 tins of that in there actually. Run it up, took it for a road test, come back, changed the oil, put a new filter on it, still doing it. So, all right, okay. Took the sump off. Had to drop the front pipe, drop the sump, and where the oil pickup comes down into the sump, there was about that much room between the oil pickup and sludge. It was like charcoal in the bottom of the sump. I mean, my dad used to change the oil quite regular on the car, but he used to use the $2.99 special, $2.99 for 5 litres special out of Wilco's engine oil, and I think that's probably what did it. It caked up. You could drain the oil out of it. You would get oil out of it, but very little, and it was obviously just using crap oil. Spent a good time cleaning all the sump out, put fresh oil back in it, new filter again, and it was as good as gold after that, which was quite lucky. You know, it could have done a bit of damage, but one of them things. So yeah, I did that while the boss was on holiday. But having said that, it all went through the books. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, next year. Because we don't do the miles, I'll get the Range Rover in there and we'll give it a service. I was saying, obviously Tina uses it to go to the shops and stuff, because with her Panda, although it's running quite nice, the Panda, there's still a lot of jobs on it that we want to get sorted out before she uses it, you know, full time. But the brakes are squeaking a little bit on the Range Rover, so we'll probably have a look at those at some point when I give it a service, and you know, do all the filters. We'll see how involved I want to get. I might change all the oils in the axles as well, just because we know then it's been changed and it's done. Yeah, all good stuff. I really want to wash the car, but it's either been absolutely chucking it down, or the weather turns out really nice and we get on doing other stuff out there. But at some point, I want to get out there and give the car a bloody good wash. We've a little bit naughty. We've never washed this car since we've had it, but I want to give it a good wash and get a ceramic coating on it, just to protect it. And I have noticed on the back, which I'm a little bit annoyed about, on the it's not a boot spoiler, but the trim that goes across the top of the boot lid where the brake light is, the lacquer is starting to peel on that. It's on the rest of the car it's fine, but on that one panel there's a patch and it's gone like a circle. I thought it was a bit of dirt. It could still be dirt, but from looking at what I could see from down on the floor in the wheelchair, it looked like the lacquer was coming off. It would be nice if it was just a bit of dirt, but I think what I'm going to have to, if it is the lacquer coming off, I don't want to be paying out for paint. I'm not going to paint it myself because it would look shit. I don't really want to pay someone else to do it, so what I might do is, because you can't see it, when the boot lid's shut, you can't see it. It's only when you open the tailgate and it flips up, you can see it on this piece here. So for the time being, I might just get a bit of 3M sticky something or other and slap on top of it. The trouble is, here in France, it gets bloody hot in the summer, and because the car's sat out in the sun, I'm assuming that bit across the tailgate is plastic. Whether that it's done it because it's paint on plastic and the paint on the metal work is fine, I really don't know. But Yeah, I'm not too... My painting skills are a bit like my plastering skills.
Oh shit.
If I ever do any plastering, it looks like I've put it on with a fork. And I think my painting skills are about the same. If it gets that bad, I will take it off and paint it. But I'm not sure about the colour, because it is a bit of a strange colour. Oh, we've had a message about the Audi, but it's been retracted. I was just halfway through reading it. But yeah, the N75 valve, the Collie Man. If you put it back up, I'll read it again. So yeah, I'm not sure about painting, because it's a nice car and I don't want to cock the job up. Basically, if it was a panel on the car, like the bonnet or the wings or the doors or anything, I'd have to take it in somewhere and get it done professionally. But because it's just that tailgate piece, I don't know. I think what I'll do is I'll get up there, I'll climb onto I'll open the bottom tailgate, climb up onto that, and then get on my knees and have a look on there and see how bad it is. I might just, for the time being, just a bit of 3M sticky back carbon fibre or something like that, because you'll not notice it. You can't see it from when the tailgate's shut, and it will just protect it. We'll see. But yeah, I'm not. I mean, I've got the compressor and I've got a spray gun. I'm not sure that I could do it. No, I don't suppose I'll be able to get that colour in rattle cans. I'm not sure what the colour it is. When we bought the car, it was listed as a violin noir, which is purple black, so black purple. In certain lights, it looks really dark. Other lights, it looks sort of almost brown, but then it looks quite purpley as well. But if I could get that colour with a rattle can, I don't know. We'll worry about that another day. I want to wash the car first and get some ceramic coating on it, and just a bit of peace of mind, and then innit, get it nice and clean. But yeah. Eh?
After that, you're doing the panda, aren't you?
After what?
After you've done your car.
Yeah, well, let's say we've got the Audi to do, and
Ceramic, I'm talking about.
well, ceramic coat the Panda.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the paint might fall off the Panda if we do that.
Take you 2 minutes.
Had Audi A4 clean turbo, replaced solenoid control over turbo. Found a split in the bottom hose off the turbo. Was that causing turbo overboost? Because on the Audi, I've been watching all sorts of videos on YouTube about this overboosting. It comes up with a code number and it says it actually says turbo overboost. But the turbo does like a fluttering noise as you rev it up. Well, it was doing. You'd rev it up and it goes. And somebody said that it was possibly that N75 valve can cause it to do that, or the other valve, which is the boost release valve. I can't remember what it is. I know it's on there because there's another valve on the bulkhead. But yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it. I've got to find out where it's leaking first, because it didn't half go over bang. I was driving my cousin round in it when he was house hunting over here, and the fault had been there on and off since we had the car, really. Now, I should have known, because when we test drove it, the bloke said, "Do you want to drive?" I said, No, you drive. I says, because I can, I know if a car drives in a straight line or not, and I can listen out for any bangs or clonks or anything. He was driving really, really slow, and he said, because the previous customer has really looked after this car, we have to let the car warm up gently. I was like, I didn't give it any fault. I thought, oh well, because it was a garage that sells stuff on the behalf of a customer. It's a weird setup how they had it over here, but I didn't give it any fault. You know, he's being, nice to the car, letting it warm up gently. And after about 5-10 minutes, he started putting his foot down. Anyway, we gets the car back home, and if you drove it sort of gently for 5 minutes and then start accelerating hard, no faults whatsoever. But if you jumped in it, fired it up, got out of the village and just accelerated a little bit harder than you would do normally, red light comes on, you plug the thing in, overboost. It's, oh bloody hell. But it would only do it from cold. But it was getting to the point where it was doing it quite often, and even Tina knew how to clear. She was clearing the codes with the gadget. Anyway, it started getting better. We put a diesel cleaner through it, and we put something else. I can't remember what else we did, but it wasn't coming on as regular. And I was driving my cousin round, and we was coming back from a viewing, and I was just going up this hill, just accelerating a bit, and it was going and going. All of a sudden, it just went bang, and it sounded like an explosion going off. And my cousin was getting a bit of a panic on, and you got a blowout. And I thought, no, we haven't got a blowout, because it was still driving in a straight line. Of course, looked in the mirror and there was black smoke. It was like turned it into night time. People behind us was putting their headlights on. So I managed to get up onto the main road, pulled over into a lay-by, opened the bonnet, and he couldn't. You can't see anything on these cars, can you? Because you open the bonnet, it's just big plastic, says Audi. And so I said, well, all I can do is try and get us home. So we had 20 kilometres to go, and luckily the car got us home, and that's pretty much how it's stayed. So it did go with a bang. So there's a leak somewhere. So we'll get that fixed and find out why it's overboosting. Have we got? How was it in France? How much rock did you find it? The 3.6 over the 3 litre 2.9 TD6 is night and day different. It is unbelievable. It's still a Range Rover, but it is so much more refined, so much more powerful. Now the reason we didn't go for the 4.4, I was looking at a 4.4, but in France the 4.4s are about 5,000 to 6,000 euros more than the 3.6, because in France second-hand car prices are really expensive. They really do hold their value well, which is good if you want to sell a car, but not so good if you want to buy one. But so that was one reason why we didn't get the 4.4. The one that I was looking at, the 4.4 that I was looking at had 148,000 kilometres on the clock, which, that's about 90,000 miles. The 3.6 that we ended up with only had 120,000, so that was about 70,000 miles, just over. And another reason, when I've been watching reviews and stuff, and I watched Harry's Garage, as a lot of you lot watch Harry's Garage, and he said he preferred his 3.6 over the 4.4. Not that the 4.4 is a slouch in acceleration or anything, but he said he felt that the 3.6 had more sort of oomph, because you've got your twin turbos. On the 4.4 you've got a funny setup. You've got like a little turbo and a big turbo. The 4.4 is still powerful. I mean, it's 313 horsepower against the 3.6, which is 270. So you've got almost 40 horsepower more and a bit more torque. Plus, on the 4.4 you've got a nice 8-speed gearbox, whereas on the 3.6 you've got the 6-speed. They're both ZF gearboxes, whereas on the TD6 that's a GM gearbox, which is made out of cheese. It's, if you can get a good one, they're all right, but they're few and far between. Because the 3 litre TD6 is, although it's 177 horsepower new, it's a bit underpowered for the weight of the car. So and the gearbox is right on the limit of its, you know, bursting point. But another reason why we went for the 3 points, that was a couple of reasons why we went for the 3.6. And then the third reason is in France, you get taxed. When you register a car, you have to pay for the privilege, obviously. So you pay to register. You then have to pay any car after 2009. Well, a car that is newer, once a car hits 10 years old, registration fees are cut in half. But because our car wasn't quite 10 years old, we had to still pay the full price. Then you have to pay the emissions tax up front, and it's all calculated on the puissance fiscal, which is the power of the car and the CO2 emissions. Now the 3.6 is, they call it CVs, you know, chevaux, which doesn't make any sense because the Range Rover's 20, the 3.6 is 20 CV, and the 4.4 is 22. So it would have cost us more to register a 4.4. And so the only ones that I could sort of find local to us was sort of a good 5,000 to 6,000 euros more expensive. You could go private, but we were spending that amount of money. We wanted to buy it from a garage where it had warranty, which we did actually use. If you've been watching our videos quite a while back, we had a problem with the wipers on it. You know, they wouldn't work properly. We never did get to the bottom of what they changed, but they've been as good as gold since. But now I've got the IID gap tool. I should be, you know, if we do get a fault like that again, I should be able to get to the bottom of it quite easy. So yeah, that's another reason why we went for the 3.6, and we're chuffed to bits with it. Well, I am. I love it. Tina, not so much. She's quite happy with her little Panda. She's happy enough to drive the car, but it's not her idea of a nice car. Say no more. An L405, yeah, I don't know, that shape just hasn't grown on me yet, the L405. And I've never liked the sports. I don't know what it is. There's something about them. Because I've had a lot of questions before. People saying, "Why didn't you get a Range Rover Sport?" I mean, when the first Range Rover Sport came out, the 4.2 litre supercharged V8, it was phenomenal. You know, that much power and speed in a 4x4 car, unbelievable. But the looks of it and the way they drive it just didn't do anything for me at all. It's full fat Range Rover all the way. As we see behind us, it's a bit blown out. You can't really see it on the screen. But there you go. So yeah, that's why we got the 3.6. We still got the TD6. But yeah, absolutely spot on. You can't beat a Range Rover. Pardon? Oh God. Don't know if you can hear her chirping up in the background. Pandas will beat a Range Rover any day. But you say with we've got the Audi A4. We shouldn't have. Well, we should have bought the Audi A4 because it was a nice car. Tina never liked it, but it's quite surprising. The Audi A4, it's not as big inside as it is outside. I can't get my. Oh, excuse me. I can't get the wheelchair in the boot of the Audi without taking the wheelchair apart. you could never be a backseat passenger if I'm driving it, because the front seat is almost touching the back seat. Now really, we should have probably gone for an Audi A6, would have been a lot more room, but there you go. Went for a Range Rover instead. Much better. But yeah, the plan is we'll get that Audi fixed and we'll get it sold. It'll take us a while to clean it up. There's something's been nesting under the bonnet. We've got a wasp's nest started in just behind the grille. There's moss growing on one of the wheel arch liners. The brakes are as rusty as hell. But they weren't too bad. The last time we got it in the garage, the brake discs weren't too bad. They had surface rust on them. We took the Audi out to build some of this wool, and it's been 3-4 weeks. Gone to get the Audi back in, and the noise that the brakes were making, it's like, oh my god. And I had a quick look at them through the wheels, and they're as rusty as hell now. So hopefully I can do something with them and get them all cleaned up. And when I worked at there was a Toyota garage I worked at. It wasn't Toyota when I was working there. He'd been Toyota since he was the second Toyota dealership in the country back in the 60s. And then apparently Toyota turned around and says, you're not a big enough concern, we're going to Marshall's in Peterborough. Because that's obviously quite a big, you've got all the brands under one roof there. And so he carried on specialising in Toyota, and he took on the Daihatsu dealership. Now Daihatsus are pretty much just Toyotas anyway. And I don't think even now, Daihatsus aren't even in Europe anymore, they're Japan only. I've lost track now, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I've got shit for brains. What was I talking about? No, it's gone. Oh well. We'll change the subject and talk about something else. So, how does it look with this camera setup? I'll say in the camera it looks good. On YouTube it looks good, but the software that I use to get the camera onto YouTube, I look a bit pink. But I'm assuming that you're seeing what's on YouTube. It's all confusing stuff. I used to use, this will probably bore you, and more of you will disappear. I used to use what they call a Blackmagic Ultra Studio Mini, which was a HDMI converter that plugged into the Mac. And I could get it to work on this camera, which is just like a little Sony action cam, but I couldn't get it to work on the main camera. Now the main camera is like all singing, all dancing, it's got pro audio and bits and pieces. Whatever I did on the HDMI out, I couldn't get it to work on this Blackmagic thing, so I thought I'll order just this cheap, what do they call them, video capture card, plugs in a USB, HDMI. I thought, well, I'll get one of them. It was like 10 quid. Plugged it in, bish bash bosh. This camera's working on the computer straight away. Got something in my eye. So I sold the Blackmagic HDMI converter thing, and I just use this little 10 quid box now, and everything's working fine. I've got another lead, because what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to do a Christmas special live stream in the other room, and you'll get to see all the decorations and everything. We're not going to put decorations up at the start of December this year. We're going to try and hold off.
23rd.
No, Tina, that's not enough. 23rd. On Facebook, you don't like to say anything, but people are putting their Christmas trees up already. Now, come on. What is going on? But yeah, so I'll do a live stream special in the other room with the laptop and this camera, hopefully. We might get to see something of The Hobbit while we're in there.
Doubtful she'll go out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, so that's why I've got all this capture card and everything, so that I can get set up in the other room. Bit of a change of scenery for you, because at the moment we're just looking at the same old stuff. My dodgy wallpaper, the pig's still hanging on the wire up there. And I on my other channel, the Mad Dog Farm, I do a lot of videos with the old these things. And I've had no end of people saying, they're obviously from America and places like that. One bloke was, "Man, you need to sort your house out. It looks like it's falling down." You cheeky bastards. But it's not falling down. The decoration needs doing, but the house isn't falling down. I did explain that there are certain things that need to be done first. The kitchen being one of them, to keep her happy. This room, it's functioning. It's warm. Heating's working. That's another little story for you in a minute. Yeah, heating's on. That's all fine. We've got new windows. Lovely. But the amount of people that comment on the state of this room. Anyway, so I thought we'll have a change of scenery. We'll do a live stream in the other room. We've got all our Christmas decorations up. So that'll probably be in about a month's time. But the plan is live streaming from the garage. I've got all the cable. And I've got some bits and pieces that I can have internet up in the garage. And so I'll have to take the laptop up there for that. And this camera, plug it all in. Get powered up, and we can do live streams from the garage, and maybe do little projects and stuff. Who knows? I'll get a few more viewers. We'll be laughing. But yeah, we're not doing too well tonight. I think the most we've had was 10 or maybe 11. So I don't know. I did put out a community post saying that I was going to try it on Tuesday night, and I did schedule it, and it should have popped up earlier. If you've got your bell notification switched on, you might have been warned about it. I think on a Sunday night I'm sort of averaging about nearly 20. Some bloke said to me, he said, "Is it really worth doing it for 20 people?" I was like, well, you don't do it just for the people that come on live, because once I've done the live video, it then goes onto YouTube as a video that anyone can watch. Whether you would want to watch it or not, I don't know. But having said that, there's people do obviously watch it because the views that the video gets after it's uploaded onto YouTube properly. Yeah, see you in a bit. Hobbit's taking the dogs out. Then the video watches and stuff does go up once it's on YouTube proper sort of thing. So people do watch it when it's not live. I don't know how much of it they watch, because some of these live streams go on for a couple of hours because people get talking on the chat, and I just talk a load of crap anyway. And next thing you know, it's 2.5 hours, and it's like, oh bloody hell. In this video, we're changing the lower arm on the Range Rover. Easy as that. Yeah. So it's all good stuff. Keep myself busy. Over on the Mad Dog Farm, I wasn't getting many views. I was getting up, I had about 130 subscribers. But yeah, each video was getting like 30 or 40 views and stuff. And I did a couple of these sort of videos. And you got to be careful what you say on YouTube, because once this video goes off of live and it's uploaded onto YouTube for everyone to watch, it's monetized. And if you say the wrong words, you get striked, or they take off your monetization and stuff. On the other channel, I'm not monetized, so I talk about that sort of thing all the time. And so yeah, I put out some those videos, and they're going absolutely mental. I'm, you know, coming up to nearly 500 subscribers. It's like, bloody hell, that'd be all right. But they're not watching our everyday. But it's like I said to Tina, I don't do it. This channel, Ben's Garage, is nice. It's earning a little bit of money with the adverts and stuff. You can't get rich off it. But it's enough, and it just sort of gives you a bit of an incentive then. You know, people are watching, and if you worked out how much time you put into making the videos and how much you actually get from revenue, you'd be earning pennies per hour. But it's just nice to get something back. And say the other channel's not monetized at all, so I'm not really that bothered. And I don't do it for the money. I do it because I like the sound of my own voice. No, that's not true. It's like when I get out in the garage and that's all sorted out properly and everything, then I'll be doing some more projects and more how-tos. You know, I've got a lot of knowledge up in here, and if I can share it with the world, it's all well and good, isn't it? People will either watch it or they won't. It's up to them. Here we go. Range Rover are very expensive and not known for their reliability. Well, I've got a thing about this reliability issue. How can I put it? I don't think there is a car out there. Say you've got a Ford Focus and you've got a problem with it. You go onto the internet and you search Ford Focus is doing this, blah, blah, blah. All you're going to see on the internet is people that have had problems with that car. There'll be forums and it's this, and they'll say this is wrong with it, that's wrong with it, this has gone wrong, that's gone wrong. It's the same with any brand of car, whether it's a Ford Focus or a Toyota or you know, or a Land Rover. Land Rovers, no Mick, it's not Sunday. I'm trying it on a different night to see if we get more views. That's the plan. You need to keep up. You need to keep abreast of the situation. It depends. I mean, I don't know. In certain countries, you can't fix your own cars. I don't know if that's true. What did you say? Yeah, you live in Norway. Are you allowed to fix your own cars in Norway? I know. Is it Germany where you're not allowed to do a lot of things on your own car? You have to take it back to the garage to have your winter tyres put on, and they stamp the thing. If you can fix your own car, you can get parts reasonably priced. So there's only a few jobs. If you've got a little bit of bit of mechanical knowledge, or you've got a bit of common sense, most jobs you can do yourself. There's certain things when it gets like really deep diving into electronics, or the heavy stuff like a gearbox or stuff like that. All parts subject to tax on import. Well, can't help you with that one. 2013 with 130,000 on the clock. £80,000. Well, I wouldn't buy one in Norway. £80,000, that's nearly the price of a brand new one. I don't know how much they are brand new now, but I know when, like my TD V8, I think when that was new, they were about something like that. But for a second-hand car, no way. Flipping heck. Whew, that is... I have heard that Norway is quite expensive. I don't know anyone at... even beer and stuff's expensive in Norway. I'm not moving there if it's 80 grand for a bloody second-hand car. Yeah. And it's cold. Is it cold? I'm not too struck on the cold anymore. Before, when I was still walking, I used to go to work even in the winter in shorts and wellies. Yeah, beer. That's what I've heard. Norway is expensive for beer and stuff like that. Flipping it. I wouldn't. I know France is expensive for cars, second-hand cars and new cars. I think I've seen brand new Range Rovers. I've seen for sale. A brand new one, which is the L405, are about €120,000. So just over £100,000. I don't know what spec it was. When I was looking for a Range Rover, they used to come up at the top of the adverts, you know, the brand new ones. But no chance I'm going to be buying one of those. And we probably did pay a little bit too much for, not too much, we paid the going rate for our car. I could have gone back to the UK and bought this same car for £12,000 to £15,000. We paid a bit more than that. It's all right, Mick. She knocked up a brew before she took the dogs out. But yeah, as I was saying, I used to go to work. Tina used to give me a bit of stick. I'd have my shorts on, wellies, and go to work in the winter, cutting grass. Obviously, you know. This is just for Mick. You can get all Ben's Garage merchandise over on bensgarage.org. It won't come with tea, it will be empty. But yeah, I can't believe that. That is flipping expensive. But yeah, there you go. So the only reason we didn't buy a UK car is because, for one, warranty. We live in France. Can't be going backwards and forwards and messing about like that. Second is the salt on the roads. They do rot if they're not looked after. Thirdly, we've got to go through all the importing process, which I did with the TD6, and it's not a big deal. You know, I'm actually doing it for my cousin at the moment because I've got the account and they've only just come to France. You've actually got to be in the system before you can... Oh, it's a bit of a headache. You have to have like your tax number and everything, be in the government system before you can access the online side of registering your car. So I've started, because I've got the account, I've started doing the process for their cars and van, car, motorbike, and I've not got the paperwork for his other motorbike. But yeah, it's quite straightforward to register, but you've got costs. With the TD6, we didn't have to change the headlights. You don't have to change the headlights at all now in France. You can actually... They will actually pass the CT with the headlight stickers, you know, the beam deflectors. On the Range Rover, it's got the tourist switch on the back of the headlight, so you just take the back of the headlight off and there's a little lever, you flick it down and it flattens the beam, because they're xenon headlights. So that sorts the headlights out. Before... I can't remember when it came in now. It might have been 2018 they changed the rules. Before that, you had to change your headlights. They wouldn't pass the CT with UK headlights because they're obviously pointing the wrong way and they dazzle drivers. UK car, it points to the left and it would dazzle oncoming traffic. Now they accept these beam deflectors to level the beam. So with the Range Rover, we didn't have that. And because of the age of the Range Rover, I think it cost me about €270 to register it onto French plates. Got all that done, piece of cake. With a newer, anything after 2009, there's a potential of having to pay a malus tax, which if you buy a new vehicle in France, it's normally the first person who buys the car in France pays the malus tax, and that's calculated on... the emissions and the power and all that kind of thing. So with the Range Rover, it would have been quite expensive. And then you got your emissions tax and everything. The malus tax and the emissions tax are quite separate, but you'd have had to pay. And some people are having to pay like, you know, 6,000 to 9,000 euros to import their newer UK car into France because that malus tax hasn't been paid on that car. So when they're bringing it to France, they're getting walloped with like 5,000 to 6,000 euros of this malus fee. So that was another reason. I thought, well, buy a French one. It's on French plates. Steering wheel's on the proper side for the French, you know, France roads. Because it doesn't bother me. I'll drive a car with a steering wheel either side. I'm not, you know, I jump in and just drive it. So that's not an issue. But yeah, so that's why we bought a French one and paid a little bit more for it. And just reading that about 2025, I think in France they said 2040 for phasing out diesels and petrol. I'm not sure about petrols, but diesels definitely. Oh, no mugs. I'll have to look into that. I did design some mugs and put them somewhere. I don't know where they are then. I'll have to have a look, but I can't do it now while I'm live streaming. So yeah, so they're talking about phasing out diesels. Which I don't know. All this electric car business, to me, it's... I don't know. They say that, oh, they're good for the environment and this, that and the other, but they're not, because the raw materials for making the batteries themselves, the stuff that they've got to get out of the ground for the batteries, it's just ridiculous. And then you're charging it up, so you're getting... Your power's got to come from somewhere, whether it's a diesel engine, electric or petrol. You know, if it's electric, they say, oh, it's coming from your battery, but it's not. You plug it in, you're getting it from the grid. How are they generating electric? You know, coal-fired power stations are still about, so they're kicking out more fumes. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Talking about phasing out fuels and stuff. As of next year in France, you're not allowed to buy an oil boiler anymore. Oil or gas, I think. Because they're trying to get everyone converted to these heat pumps. Now, I did a little video on these heat pumps. Not heat pumps, on the boiler. When I fixed the boiler the other day. And I did have a comment come back from one of my mates, actually. I don't know if he's watching. Biker 80. He's a bit of an electronic whiz kid, and I've actually sent him a circuit board to fix for me from one of the keyboards I've got, and he's said oil heat pumps are alright all the time they're working. If you've got to open them up, you need to open your wallet up big time. He fixed a control unit off of a heat pump boiler, and the company that he did the job for said that the replacement part was £1,500. So they've actually suggested to their customer to replace their heat pump with an oil or gas thing. Well, you'll know if you're in Norway, are heat pumps any good when it's cold? Because I've heard that once the temperature gets cold outside, they're not very efficient. You know, that is what would put me off, because it does get cold here in the winter. Who knows? Yeah, so what's the sense in that? You get fumes off of wood. Perhaps we'll have to open up the chimneys. I've got a chimney. I've got a fireplace in this room with a chimney. We've got a fireplace in the bedroom with a chimney. The fireplace in the front, we've covered it over, and we've put a vent up in. Not a vent. We've the hood over the oven, the extractor fan. That goes up in the chimney, up and out. But there's in the front fire. There's two chimneys. There's one for the old. There used to be an open fire in the front there, and then there was what a lot of the French have got, which is like a solid fuel cooker. It's not like an Arga or a range cooker or anything like that. They're pretty awful things. I think you can lift the lid up and put a saucepan on the top, and they've got like an oven, and the rest of it is like the fire. I think some of them do have like a back boiler. Well, so yeah, minus 25 and they're still working. Because at the moment, EDF are doing grants. I say EDF because they're a bunch of con merchants. When we first came here, EDF were doing deals for solar panels, and we was like, oh, you know, if they're going to put solar panels up, if it gets to minus 25 here, we're moving. We'll go further south. It gets cold here, but it don't get that cold. Oh, you bugger, minus 25. But, yeah, so EDF, we got in touch with them. Thought, well, you know, if they do grant, because friends of ours have had solar panels put on the roof, EDF came out and fit them free of charge, but they don't get any benefit for the first 10 years. So EDF put the panels up for free, and then after 10 years, they can start getting some of the electric out of the panels and then sell it back to EDF. But so we got in touch with him, said, yeah, we're running some deals at the moment. So he came out, and I think what happened was there probably are some very good grants for these solar panels. But I think he saw the Range Rover on the drive and thought, they've got money. And he quoted us for, I think, 6 panels on the roof, 13,000 euros. And I said, as soon as he said it, it's like, I just said no. Oh, dearie me. No, I think I'll steer clear of Norway. I don't mind Norway, because not that I would go on a cruise, but if I was to go on a cruise on a ship, I'd like to do the fjords, you know, all around Norway and that. But you won't catch me on a cruise ship. Not at the moment. But oh, that is cold. So yeah, and he kept pestering us. He said, "Oh, you sign the contract." He says, "But," we said, "No, we don't want it." He said, "Well, you got to sign it to say I've been here." So anyway, we did that, and he kept pestering us for a week. The price came down to 11,000 euros. I said to Tina, "We'll never ever get that money back." So, and what the cost was going to be for buying it back and selling it to them, it just wasn't worth it. So now they're doing this new deal where it's get rid of your oil or your gas and have a heat pump. But if it's going to be a grant and that, they're just going to put the cheapest thing in. They're not going to put a decent one in. So, and we just end up with problem after problem. And I can't fix a heat pump, whereas I can fix the oil boiler. So as long as I can keep the oil boiler going for as long as possible, and as long as we can get the oil for it. But one day it's going to happen, isn't it? So yeah, that's interesting that they worked down to minus 25. Because I was reading somewhere that once they got below 5 degrees, they was like really not efficient. But if that's the case, that's not quite so bad. Yeah, someone I know had a ground source heat pump put in. Flipping heck. Mick Ness is on. Tina? Oh, I thought she was just in there, but she's not. Yeah, so it's just not worth doing that kind of deal. They've come out and fitted a new meter. We're now on the Linky. bloke came out and fitted this. It's an all singing, all dancing digital electric meter, and they're not supposed. They don't have to come out to read the meter anymore. It's all done. I don't know, wirelessly or whatever. Anyway, bloke comes out, fits it. He says, "Oh, now because in France with electric, it's ridiculous. You've got different tiers. You can't just have electric into your house. You have it's all done on. Is it kVA? Is it kVAs?
Yeah.
So you've got 3 kVA, 6 kVA, 9 kVA, 12 kVA, or you can go up to 18 kVA. But then that's a commercial contract." We was on, well, our bills was coming through and it said we were on 6 kVA, and if we put too much on, the power was just tripping off, which it does. Like in France, if you don't pay your bill through the winter months, they can't legally cut you off of electric. So what they do is they reduce your power right down to 3 kVA, and just flicking the kettle on's enough to trip the power off. It's ridiculous. So we was on 6. Well, the bill said we was on 6. Anyway, we got in touch, said we want a bit more power. You have to just phone them up. We want a bit more power. So the bloke comes out, took the cover off, and he looked at it. He says, "You're already on 9." He says, He says, "Do you want to go up to 12?" Oh, okay. So he put us up to 12. We're on 3 phase as well. Don't know if that makes any difference. Pardon me. Yeah, 3 phase electrics. And we're on 12 kVA. Now, if Tina had the dishwasher going and put the kettle on, it would trip the power off. And I kept trying to work it out. What have we got running? Because surely, kVA, it's like kilowatts or whatever. The kettle's 3,000 watts. Because it's one of these quick boil things. So you're trying to add up everything in the house. Because once you get to maximum thing, it trips off. But it was going off with just the dishwasher and the kettle. Obviously the lights were on. And it would trip off. Anyway, the bloke come out. We had a really old-fashioned meter on the wall. It looked like 1950s or something. Little disc used to spin round in it. My dad used to... I don't suppose I'll be incriminating him if I do say it. I think he said, it was either him or his uncle, they used to just twist the wire so that you could open it, and he used to get a little bit of negative, 35mm negative, fold it up and just put it under the disc, and it would stop the disc spinning and stop the meter going round, but you're still getting electric. Can't do that anymore. Now we've got this Linky box, and he said something about the amps coming into the house. He said something about 20 amps. I don't know what he was on about, because we had 30. The main trip switch said 30 amps on it. So he said it's not done in that box now. It's all done in the Linky box. So anyway, that got put in. It's all working. You can scroll through the buttons. Because we're on 3 phase, you can scroll through all 3 phases and see how much power you're drawing on each phase. And so we tried it. We put all the ovens on. So we had Tina's got 2 ovens on her cooker. I put my oven on. We put the kettle on. I think we had the toaster on. There's a little light on it that flashes. Tells you how much. It flashes faster the more power you're drawing. But it never tripped off. Touch wood. So whether it was a bit of a fault on the old meter, but it's just weird. I mean, what's the power in the UK? Is it 100 amps comes into your house? Well, my dad did tell me. Well, I can't remember. But yeah, it's just crazy the way they do it in France, and they don't wire the house up properly. There's no such thing as a ring main over here. Everything goes back to the box. But we shall see what happens when I get the garage all wired up. I'll start welding and stuff up there. See if we can trip the electric then. But a lot of the new builds in France are, because they're all quite well insulated, a lot of them rely on electric heating, like electric radiators inside the house. Are you there, Tina?
Yeah.
Mick Ness has just got some oil, 26 pence a litre. That's bloody... Last oil was 20p a litre. How much do we pay for heating oil?
It was 7. I think when I got it, I got it in the summer and it was 76.
If we order heating oil in the summer, it's cheaper because obviously there's not so much of a demand for it. And it was 76 cents a litre, which after your 26 pence a litre sounds bloody expensive. But there you go. What can you do? What can you do? Apply for an industrial meter? Well, I don't know about that. I'm just running it off the house. Eh?
So you'd end up paying.
Yeah, if we have a... That's not plus tax, that's including tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, 76 cents a litre including tax.
Get it now, it'll be over €1.
Yeah, we've talked about insulation. The Hobbit, Tina, we ordered a load of insulation and we've got it up in the loft because there was nothing in this house, absolutely nothing at all. There's nothing under the floors, there's nothing in the loft, and there's nothing. The walls are just it's not plasterboard. It's well, this wall's rendered because that's a stone wall between the two rooms. That's rendered. And I'm assuming this is rendered. It's just rendered straight onto stone or dodgy brick. So there's no insulation in the walls. We ordered some insulation. Tina's put it up in the loft. Was it this year or last year you did?
Before Christmas last year.
Before Christmas last year, Tina went up in the loft, in the front and the back. We got the 200mm stuff. I thought it was going to be fiberglass that turned up, but it was like that. It was like rock wool. It was, you know, really good stuff. So we've done that, and we have really noticed a difference with the heat. You know, because we've now got the boiler running on a thermostat in the house. Because before the boiler was on or off. The only time the boiler would switch off was when the water returning to the boiler was at the right. If it was still hot when it got back to the boiler, the boiler would switch off until the water returning got cold. But so we've got the thermostat on the boiler. The boiler's working now. I have actually got a pressure gauge so I can set the pressure on the oil pump. So that's another little job I've got to do. But say since Tina's been up and done the insulation, it has made a massive difference. We've still got a bit of draft to come in. Previous owners had blocked up the vents on the outside of the house because under the floor it's just a big space. In the other room we've got a what's it called? Cellar, which we call the dungeon. And then under this floor, it's all just raised up and it's just dirt underneath. And there's a vent in the wall. Air comes in. And previous owners had blocked the vents up. I don't know how long for, but all the floor joists in the other room are rotten and dropped down. In the corner of this room, we've got one floor joist that's just sort of rotted on the end. And it's just, the floor's just sinking. But it's not bad enough for where we think we can save it. We can prop the floor back up and bodge it up a little bit. But we've kept all the vents open. Because we, you know, with a wooden floor underneath in just floor joists and just a space onto the dirt, can't really insulate underneath. So, and we've got to keep the air flowing through, otherwise it's just going to get damp in there. So, but I don't feel the cold on my legs because I can't feel hot and cold on my legs, and I can't feel pain on my legs, which is another good side effect. But yeah, Tina feels the cold quite a bit coming up through the floorboards, but I don't know if it's quite as bad.
No, it's not.
Because obviously the heat's not going out through the thing, it's staying in the house a bit more. So we're getting there slowly. Now you see, say about groundwater. I mean, there's not the water table must be quite deep, because I've dug some bloody great holes out there and I've not come to water. Now the house has been sat empty for quite a while before we bought it, and I don't know if you've seen any of our videos like drone footage and that. The roof is a bit odd. The front of the house and the back of the house have got separate roofs, and the join of the roof is just up there. And there's where the roof comes down. There's like a guttering which runs all the way along and comes out down there. Now, when we had a bit of a storm the other week, we had a bit of a flood in here. It was absolutely pouring through up there. Tina got out in the middle of a thunderstorm, got the ladder out and got up there, and the gutter had just, there's a yeah, it's called a valley. I should have known that, Dad being a builder. Anyway, that was chock-a-block because there's a lot of ivy up there that Tina's not managed to get off yet. But so that, she's got all that unblocked and that's flowing again now. But we don't know what it was like beforehand. So with the house being empty, water could have been just coming in. But yeah, I was clearing out up the side of the house here. We call it the wild patch because when we first moved here, you couldn't even get in it. You had to fight your way through to get to the boiler room. It was so overgrown. Anyway, I've been in there with the digger clearing it out, and I've got further into the corner, and there's this massive concrete ring with a lid on it, and I was like, yes, we've got a well. So I sort of said to Tina, oh, have a look what I found in the corner, and I said, I don't know what it is, but she saw it. Oh yeah, we got a well. Anyway, I got in there the other day and lifted the lid off, and it's not a well. There's nothing in it. Oh bloody hell! There was obviously at some point there's some pipes that run into it, but we really don't know what it is. So we haven't got a well, but we have got water around us. There's a big lake over there, and the farmers have. When I've taken the drone up over in the cow field over there, there's like a water. It looks like a water source, and it looks like there's a little river that runs away through downhill. So there is water coming up over there. And there's a big lake over there, and there is a river. It's over that way a little bit, and there's a track. I don't know if you can get to it via the track, but down there's a bit of a stream type river, which it runs from one big lake up there down to another little lake down there. No, I don't think it's a septic tank. Unless it's a septic tank for the neighbour's house. I did say that today because it's quite close to their, well, it's in our land, but it's quite close to their house. So whether it is or not, I do not know. But what sort of size were those pipes, Tina?
Oh, quite thin.
They was like, were they copper pipes or?
No, they look like plastic.
Plastic?
Sort of hose pipe.
Tina said the pipes going into it were like hose pipe, plastic hose pipe type thing. So it's not like an ancient thing, but obviously it's been in there a while because it's been so overgrown down there. I don't know. You said the river is lower than us. Not that makes a lot of difference because I know at Mum and Dad's old house they had a spring which came up above them. No, 4-inch. No, it's like the pipe in it is like hose pipe size. Well, yeah, I don't know what it is really. But anyway, there's no water in it, so we shan't be using it. Soft or hard plastic?
I didn't actually get low enough.
No, she didn't really get a good look because I was sort of holding the lid up with the digger and she was sort of peeping in there, trying to keep the dogs from falling in it. I don't know how deep it is. How deep would you say it was?
I could probably stand in it.
Oh. But so Tina said she could stand in it, so it's about 3.5 foot.
Ah, that's assuming what I can see in it is concrete and it's not just years of silt.
Or it could be shit.
No, I don't think so. You smelt it.
Yeah, no, we don't know what it is. But yeah, 2 foot tall.
Might be Nick.
Yeah, you got it. But yeah, so we have a nice concrete feature in the garden that we don't know what it is. But luckily, it's right over there out the way, so it doesn't get in the way. We have got the septic tank for our house is just out the back here, and it does look. It is almost similar to that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's similar.
It's very similar. But you see, the next door's house, that's quite an old house, and I think their septic tank runs down into their garden, because Tina said you can smell it, and you can where obviously the septic tank has a leak off, where that obviously leaks off. There's quite a damp patch in their garden, and they get a lot of nettles and stuff growing. So whether a septic tank was put up there and there was plans of building on the land,
It is a separate plot.
that's like Tina just said, that is a separate plot, because over here in France, all the land is set up in parcels, and each parcel has a number. Anyone can go onto a geoportal website and find our house, and you'll see what parcels of land we own. That bit we call the wild patch is a different parcel to what the house is, and the field we got out and the woods, they're all different parcels as well. It's like Tina's just mentioned that bit of land next door is a separate parcel, so at some point there might have been plans to build in there, and they might have put a septic tank in. Who knows? Oh dear. So yeah. No, the panda's not been scrapped.
No, it bloody hasn't.
Talking about the parcels of land, we've actually got 4 house numbers. That bit of land's got a house number. We're number 26, and then I think we've got 28 and 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that bit next door we own is 24. This is all street numbers. We're 26. The bit over there is 28, and then the bit up by the garage is 30. There you go. And so we've got 4 house numbers for the street. My cousins just bought a house and they haven't got 1 number. And apparently nobody can find their house when they order stuff online, and the couriers can never find it. But, I thought everywhere had to have a house number now, but apparently not. Cadastre, yeah. So yeah, I've gone to the geoportal.fr website, and you can bring up the cadastral plans. You can bring up everything. Yeah, I can. There's actually aerial photographs of this house from the 1950s on that website. So it's quite good stuff, really. Oh, my shoulder hurts. It's Tina that's got the bad shoulder, not me.
Your shoulder next.
No. It's bad enough him doing my legs. But having said that, I've been on here for nearly 2 hours again. Yeah. I'll blame Mick Ness. Ben, 4 houses. I've only got 1 house, so 1 house in the garage. So that was quite interesting to see the aerial photographs of this house. It says from 1955 to 1965, so I don't know exactly when it was. You can zoom right in. The house was here in the state that it's in now, because the estate agent did say that the back half was built on afterwards, but I can't see that myself. I think it was always here, but it might not have been used as living accommodation. But who knows? No idea. But yeah, the house is here with the 2 roofs. The garage is over there. Over in the field they've got crops. There's a hell of a lot more trees in the area. There's trees all in our field. We've got a big oak tree out there, but there's about 5 or 6 more oak trees out in the field. There's a lot more trees on the roadside out here. All now have gone. The plot over the road where the farmers have got a house, that was all trees. That's all gone now. And that's just a house. So it is a little bit sad, really. But yeah, they call it progress, don't they? We're actually planning on planting more trees. Come to Norway for a visit next summer. How warm does it get in the summer? Because if it's bloody minus 25 in the winter, whew. Sounds a bit expensive though. I don't know about that. Yeah, I thought France was expensive, but flipping heck. Yeah, in the middle of nowhere, away from all the COVIDiots. Tina goes out and mingles with the public, but I try and keep myself to myself because I'm a vulnerable person. I am very vulnerable. 21 degrees. I'm not sure that's still coat weather, isn't it, really? No, 21 degrees isn't too bad. But in the summer, we normally get, well, I'm not saying normally, the last couple of years we've been hitting 40 plus. Which, it gets a little bit too hot sometimes, to be honest. We're not getting goats. The neighbours have got goats, and Tina can go and have a look at those if she gets any, you know, gets any ideas of goats. I'll say just go and have a look at those ones because they keep getting out as well.
No, they don't.
They do keep getting out.
They don't go anywhere.
Whoa, that's besides the point. They do keep getting out. But yeah, no, we don't want goats. Been there before. But,
Obviously wasn't well trained.
oh, he sold the boat. He didn't have that one for long, did he? I don't know if he's watching tonight. Apparently, there's 10 concurrent viewers. He's not said anything in the comments. But no, he sold it. No, not the rib. He got rid of the rib, and then he had a fishing boat type thing, and then he got rid of the fishing boat, and he had like a it wasn't a speedboat, but it was sort of like a speedboat, like a cruiser type thing. Looked quite nice. I was talking to him the other night on the Doodah Facebook chat thing, and he said what it was. Not that it costs. It does cost a lot of money because you've got to obviously pay for the harbour and all that kind of thing. And then if you take it out of the water over winter, you've got to then pay for storage and stuff. But he said because it was costing money, you felt like you had to go and use it. And he was saying that it sort of took over the life sort of thing. So because you're paying out for it, you've got to use it. And it's like every spare moment it was like on the boat. And he's had a boat for a few years now, and I think there's just I don't know if the novelty's worn off or what, but so yeah, the boat is no more. He's got a new motorbike though. He did send me some pictures. It's a Kawasaki Z1000, but one of the newer ones with like the touring version of it. Because the original Z1000, not the original, but the what sort of year did they come out? 2004, something like that. There was like a Street Fighter. But his one's like the touring version, a bit more tamed down. He sent me a picture. I said, "Oh, it's not my cup of tea." And he said, "Well, it's just as well you're not riding it then, isn't it?" I didn't mean it to sound quite like that. I meant to say it's not my cup of tea. And I did say to him afterwards, it's whatever you fancy, innit? You know, I like things that he won't like. But, so yeah, he's got a new motorbike. And I think he's got panniers and stuff on it. So, you never know, we might see him out here in France on it when things have calmed down. With the old doodah. Yeah, Mr. Dibbles using the chainsaw. I said I will give him a bit of training on the old chainsaw. I don't know if he'll be watching tonight. I won't say where he is because it might be classified. But I fixed his chainsaw, as you've probably seen in the video, and said that I will give him some training because they are quite dangerous. They are bloody dangerous, really, chainsaws. If you take your eye off the ball, they will get you. I've cut myself a couple of times. Luckily, it just skimmed my leg. I didn't have chainsaw trousers on. I just had jeans on, and I wasn't even cutting. I just finished the cut, and I was at a funny angle. Just went to rest it on my leg, but the chain just come round and it just ripped my jeans open and just grazed my leg a little bit. And that was being, you know, I'm normally really careful with chainsaws. I wouldn't say he's ham-fisted, but my mate Gary Dodds, if he's watching, Studard, I don't know if you're on. Normally when people watching, they comment if they know if they're a regular, but I've not seen any of them tonight. He is the clumsiest of sods going. Mr. Dibbles, I wouldn't say he's clumsy or ham-fisted, but he's never used a chainsaw before. So I said I'll give him a bit of training. Once I've shown him all the good habits, I won't show him any of the bad habits. I'll send him on his way, and then if he cuts his leg off, that's down to him then, isn't it? He did say that he's going to be ordering some PPE, so hopefully he'll get well kitted out, and it'll be good, and he can go and, do some damage, just clear some wood. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to tune up the chainsaw, so maybe this week or maybe next week if the weather's nice. Get the chainsaw tuned up. It's a bit of a fine art. Got to know what you're doing. It's not at all, but there is a certain way of tuning up chainsaws, and if you don't get it right, you won't get maximum power out of it. But, I don't think I've done a video on tuning a chainsaw before, but yeah, so I've got that to do. Kawasaki's. I've had a few Kawasaki's. I've had a ZX7, ZX12. That was mental. Trying to think what else I've had now. I think that was it. So I haven't had a lot of Kawasaki's. I've had 2 Kawasaki's. But I always found with Kawasaki, they've got a bit of... Having said that, the Honda SP1 was had a bit of character to it. But the Honda, I had a Fireblade CBR 1000 RR. Because it did everything perfect out of the box, it was a little bit boring, to be honest. You could go around a roundabout at 20 miles an hour, get your knee on the floor. It was so easy, and it just did everything perfectly. I wouldn't say it was boring, but it didn't have any sort of character about it. Whereas with the Kawasaki, they're sort of like really raw and... the ZX12 was just a monster. That was one of the... I had a 2001 ZX12, which was the full power version. They weren't restricted to 186 miles an hour like the newer versions were. Obviously, they don't make them anymore. But So it was a full power version, and it was obviously the early fuel injection. And the ZX12 was the same as the Honda SP1 that I had. The throttle was like an on and off switch. It was sort of like off or almost flat out. There was sort of no gradual, you know, with your carburetors and that, and newer fuel injection, you've got gradual from idle. You can build up the revs nicely. Not on the ZX12. It was sort of like, what? And the SP1, man alive, that was like an on and off switch. And of course, if you're trying to keep at 30 miles an hour doing a speed limit for a village, and you hit a bump and you just jar your wrist a little bit, you're either picking up, you're doing 50 miles an hour, or you're standing it on its end, because the engine braking on that V-twin was unbelievable. You just let go of the throttle and it would almost stop. So it was a hell of a job keeping the speed limit. It was either like bruh or bruh. So yeah, I've had a few motorbikes. Anyway, I won't go there tonight because we've been all there before. But yeah, we've just done 2 hours now, so I think I'm going to sign off. It doesn't look like the midweek live stream has brought any more viewers. I don't know, for all you lot watching at the moment, if it's what night is good for you. I mean, any night's good for me, you know. School night, weekend, it don't bother me. But I'm not sure we're going to fill it up. We're just going to cover it over. We're just going to wallpaper over it.
You will leave it there, paint round it.
Yeah, paint round it. Pretend it's a map. We'll put little towns either side of it. That could be the river. I'll have to look on Google Maps and see what river it looks like. Yeah, Mum's all right. Borrowing her phrase. That's my phrase. Bye for now. Having said that, old Mr. Dibbles has started doing the old bye for now, apparently. Well, I know he has, because every time they leave here, it's bye for now. But I was talking to his wife the other day, and she said, he says bye for now every time he signs off. So, get your own bloody catchphrases. But, yeah, so what I'll do, I'll live stream again in a month. We'll do a Christmas special in the other room, so you can see all the decorations and, you should, trademark it. I was looking at TM. What's TM? Trademark. Yeah. Bloody hair's falling out. It's not falling out, it's wearing out. I don't know, I have to start wearing a hat more often. Yeah. So I will do a special live stream in the other room in about a month's time. Get the dogs dressed up, yeah. Oh, God. That's pricked Tina's ears up. She'll be on there now shopping for dog costumes. Oh, Jesus. More cooking. Oh, I'll have to come up with some ideas for that then. I've got another one coming out. Eh? Oh, Tina's making mince pies. She said I can video that. Yeah, I did a video. I've not released it yet. I made Tabasco sauce. We had Tabasco's fermenting in the jar. I made Tabasco sauce. I'll release that at some point. So I've done the brown sauce and the Branston pickle. Branston pickle is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think we'll be buying it again because it's so nice. Branston pickle, I always liked Branston pickle, but it was always very sort of vinegary, was it? Yeah. Sharp. It was always quite sharp. This homemade stuff, it's got vinegar in it, but it is like really nice, and the flavours just come through, and it's lovely. And the brown sauce is spectacular. But the trouble is, Tina says I've got to use up all the HP brown sauce before I can crack into the homemade ones. But yeah, she said I can video her making the mince pies, so that'll be a cooking video. We might be doing some more cooking videos over the Christmas period. Sausage rolls and stuff like that. Yes! He suggested we do a French cheese tasting session. I'm up for that. Funny you should mention the biscuit machine. Tina was on about that the other day, about making some biscuits. So hopefully that'll be making an appearance. Eh? Oh, she's going to make some gingery type biscuits, because I do like ginger nuts. And that'll be quite nice. But yeah, so with the live streams, whether they move back to a Sunday night or what, I don't know. I mean, you'll have to let me know. I'll try it again. I'll try another one midweek. But looking at the numbers on the screen, it's... Do they give you gas? Everything Tina cooks gives me gas. I think she stirs extra bubbles into it. It's just one of them things, isn't it? Monday is good. Well, I'll be random. Oh, at the moment, well, it says I've got. I mean, there it says I've got 6, and there it says I've got 11 viewers at the moment. When I do a Sunday, I sort of get up to about 20 sometimes. I'm not really that bothered, as long as I've got people in here and I'm just waffling on and people are chatting away. It's all good for a laugh, isn't it? But we won't be having any demonstrations with the toilet roll, unless it's see how far we can throw them. If I get the Hobbit to run around in the field and I'll see if I can hit her with them. I did shoot her last time she stole some, but you know. So yeah, I'll try different nights with this live streaming and excuse me a minute. She must have put some bubbles in that cup of tea. Flipping heck. Yeah, nice to speak to you again. Again, I don't know if I've spoken to you before. I think I've seen that your name come up on the day before, but anyway, yeah, good to talk to you. I think I'll be steering clear of Norway for the moment. It sounds far too cold, and I might need a lottery win actually. But one day, you never know. Oh God, the ramp outside. The ramp outside has progressed as far as everything else has, to be honest. The wood's sat out there ready to go. Obviously, we've got the digger back and working, so I need to get on with that. But the old ramp is still holding up at the moment. It's as rotten as hell, but it's not gone through yet. Touch wood, it will do now, so, you know. But yeah, we'll get the ramp sorted out. But we've got a few jobs we want to get done indoors. We've got some bad weather coming up next week, so I want to get in the hallway here sorted, get some plaster around the door hole, and get some wallpaper stripped off and do a bit of filling and painting, get that room sorted out. And I've got some little jobs I want to do in the kitchen before Christmas. But if the weather's crap and we can get the materials, we will be cracking on with stuff like that. But we're not sure if the Bricko's open. Tina's going to pop up there at some point and have a look. TD6 is still sat out there. I've not done anything with it. The chap who was interested in buying it has ordered the parts to fix it. He did get in touch with me and said that he's got the parts, and he was going to plan to come over and start fitting the parts to it when the weather picked up, because at the time it was absolutely chucking down with rain. And then since then we got locked down, so that's sort of on the back burner now. So I'm just going to leave it there for him to come and fit the parts. If he then wants to buy it, he can. If not, I'll just pay him for the parts and a bit of labour or whatever. I would do it myself, but he's ordered the parts and he's happy to come and do it. So, well, we're keeping you entertained. What time is it? Oh, it's only 10:10. Well, this is going to be another long live stream by the sounds of it. Yeah, so that's the that's what's happening with the TD6 at the moment. Lockdown should be finished on the 2nd of December, possibly. They say the numbers are coming down, but I don't know how. Because the numbers were going up and up and up and up, and all of a sudden they've just started coming down, and it's. But
Oh, not tonight.
oh, hang on, Tina's got the numbers for tonight.
Over 45,000.
45,000 positive cases.
And 791 deaths.
Seven.
Inclusive.
791 deaths. That includes old people's homes. So the numbers were coming down. They've just shot back up again. But they're getting a lot of pressure from small businesses. The French government, that is. Small businesses have had to shut, non-essentials. And then obviously you've got your supermarkets that are still open. Now, I've seen a lot of people posting on Facebook moaning about I've been to the supermarket, I can't buy a book, but the makeup aisle's still open. Well, it's like Tina said, she used to work at Tesco. She said, like in the makeup aisle, it's like hair and beauty and stuff that is essential. Like down the makeup aisles, you normally get like your baby stuff. So you've got like all your wet wipes and baby clothes. That's all essential. So
So many stupid little bits off.
it's like Tina was saying, the way that supermarkets are laid out, they can't just shut off an aisle because there's stuff in that aisle that's essential. I said the only way they'll do it is take all the essential stuff off the shelves. So there's people moaning, and small businesses have had to shut, and they can't sell their stuff. And then they're moaning that Amazon you can still buy stuff on Amazon. But it's like I said to Tina, there was a bloke put out a post. He said, "There's everyone slagging Amazon off." He said, "I'm a small seller. I sell my stuff on Amazon." He said, "So if they stop Amazon, it's hurting me." So a lot of these small businesses that can't open, why don't they start selling on Amazon? You know, it's as simple as that, really. But because there's a lot of pressure on the government from all these small businesses, that there was talk of them sort of letting the small businesses open. So we wondered if the numbers that were coming down were sort of a little bit manufactured numbers to sort of not sort of sway it, but so that they can justify small businesses opening. But I'm not sure. You know, it's like Tina said today, 45,000 positive cases, 790. That's nearly 800 dead people died today from COVID in France. That includes the old people's homes. We've had a case up the road here in Ladinac, which is 5 kilometres up the road. What, the old people's home? Yeah. Out of 71 residents, 52 positive cases, 13 members of staff, and 8 dead. And it's a little bit too close to home, really. The nurse comes once a week. She's coming tomorrow. She had 3 COVID patients that they go to. Now they deal with the COVID patients at the end of their shift. So once they've dealt with them, everything comes off. One of her patients is now in hospital. The other 2 are still at home. Well, this was last week. So, you know, it is getting a little bit closer. As for the vaccination, no thank you. Not a chance. I've never had a flu jab, and I'm not having a jab for that. If it had been tested and everything properly, like all other vaccinations are, and it's gone through all the rigorous testing and stuff like that, you know, you'd probably think about it. But at the end of the day, I don't go out. I know people come here, but there's something a bit fishy with these vaccinations. It's like that Pfizer, is it Pfizer they're called?
That was the one where he sold out his shares.
He sold all his shares. After they released the vaccine, he sold all his shares, and he's now minted. You know, there's something a little bit fishy there, and I don't know how. It's the delivery method. It's got to be kept below -70 or something, and you've got to have 2 jabs. I just don't know how it's going to work, and I'm not going to be first in the queue for the vaccine, to be honest. I know I'm not going to go down the conspiracy theory route or anything like that, but I don't know many people that would be first in the queue for the vaccine. I know a journalist asked someone in the UK, the head of some, I can't remember what his name was. Was it Yam or surname was Yam? They asked it, said, with this vaccine, are you and the Prime Minister going to have it first? And he come out with all these bullshit excuses about why they won't have it first, because the old people are, you know, it would look like us jumping the queue. Well, lead by example, really. But then I suppose on the other hand, you'll have all the conspiracy people saying, well, they haven't had the proper vaccine, they've just had a shot of bloody water or something. But no, I'm not sure about that one. I don't think either of us are too happy about the way it's been rushed through. Although it is obviously quite close to home, with a lot of people up the road dying and the nurse been coming to the house. Yeah, I've seen that on the news actually about this Moderna one, but no. I think if we just keep ourselves to ourselves, Tina has to go out and do the shopping once a fortnight or whenever. She's always masked up, gloved up or whatever. Since February. We were quarantining the shopping and stuff like that. We've not been doing that so much, but if it was to get bad, we probably would do. But we keep ourselves to ourselves. The nurse comes in, they're pretty good, the nurses, they're always, you know, well covered up. Physio comes once a week, he's always masked, he washes his hands about 4 or 5 times all the time he's here. So yeah, I mean, I've had a thing through on our medical side of things. I got an email from him the other day asking if I wanted a flu jab. I've never had a flu jab, and I don't intend to ever have a flu jab. But yeah, we should do really. Put the old shopping in quarantine. We were doing it, and Tina's been really good at going out and being all masked up and everything. But yeah.
We probably can again now because it won't overheat outside.
No.
In summer it was anything cold would go on.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, we was getting deliveries and they were being really careful. They was all masked up. They didn't want the signature. They would leave stuff on the doorstep, take a picture of it. You know, we would open the door, they'd take a picture of us with the parcel on the doorstep, leave it at that. And then as soon as lockdown got lifted the first time round, masks started disappearing. They wanted a signature. So Tina was going out with a mask on, signing and stuff. Our postman, the regular one, he's quite an old boy. He's hit and miss with his mask. Since this last lockdown, he's been wearing it all the time, obviously. But no, I really don't know what this world is coming to be honest. But if the country, if people weren't divided enough over Brexit, they're definitely divided over COVID. And as for America, well, that's just a shit show over there. But I just can't get my head round the mentality of people that think it's a hoax, or they're not going to get it, or, you know, I mean, I've had people absolutely having a right go at me on that last one of the videos I did, the lockdown video, when I sat up in the garage, just saying, we're locked down now, this is how it's going to affect us, this is what we're going to do. And oh dear, people was on there and calling me moron, and I was this and I was that, and I'm spreading what was I'm spreading something. I'm making it worse because I'm in a position where I can spread basically gossip to the world. It's like, well, not that many people watch my videos, mate. I did reply to him. I said, well, you know, everyone's got their own opinions. If you think the virus is real or not, I says, but calling people names is pretty childish. Something along those lines. And he never did reply to that one. So, but yeah, well, the virus is real, and people are. I know. To start with, they're saying, well, people die every year of the flu. People do die of the flu every year, but not to the level that people are dying of COVID now. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, like especially in America, people were dying a couple of months before, and on their death certificate it was coming up as COVID. That's what people have allegedly said. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I mean, my mate Gary Dodds, who comes on here at times, he works in hospital, and he said it's an absolute bloody, you know, what's the name? When I was in the UK when we was growing up in Lincolnshire, our main hospital was the Pilgrim Hospital in Boston. They're absolutely screaming out now for people to make scrubs, and for people that aren't employed by the hospital or any of the things on the what they call agencies or anything like that can go in and do a bit of work, you know, help out, give a couple of hours here and there, because obviously the staff can't cope. The hospital is absolutely filling up with COVID patients, and that is what's going to happen. The hospitals will just fill up with COVID patients, and then doctors then got to decide who they're going to save. You know, say like me, for example, when I had my little episode and got rushed into hospital, would they have been able to see me straight away if the hospital was full of COVID patients? If it was full up and I couldn't get seen, I'd have been dead. Simple as that. But luckily it wasn't at the time, and I was straight in and I got sorted out. But so doctors have got to make that choice, and that's, you know, it's not really fair to put that on the doctors and nurses and all that kind of thing. So people just don't. Yeah, we've been actually seeing quite a lot of that because Tina keeps up with all the news and stuff. I mean, really, I see what's on Facebook. My homepage is Yahoo News, so I see bits and pieces. If the headline jumps out at me, I'll read it. If not, I don't, because it gets depressing. I live in my own little world here. But Tina keeps up with the news and up to date. If she sees something on the news, or sees something on Twitter and Facebook, she'll go for an official source and try and do a bit of research to see if it's true or not, you know. So she's saying, she was like looking at all these, like they call it long COVID, don't they? Where a lot of people are suffering with that, and that looks like it's pretty nasty, long COVID. And it's all the other things. I mean, it's just, it's weird. It's bloody weird. But why people get so upset and can't stay at home, I do not know. Desperate to get down the bloody pub. And whether it's because I'm laid back, I don't know. But all this, how can I put it politely? All this bollocks about mental health and how it's affecting my mental health, it just winds me up, because you're alive. All you've been asked to do is stay at home. If you go out, wear a mask, be careful. And it's not thinking about yourself, it's thinking about other people. And it's that gets to me. And I just think, being stuck indoors is not a chore, is it? Everybody's got the telly, everybody's got the internet, if you haven't got books in the house, you can read books online. If you've got kids, you can do things with kids. You know, kids have got toys, play with the kids. Get the paper out, do some drawing. You know, do stuff like we used to do when we was kids. Oh, it must be getting serious. The Hobbit's chiming in now, look. But yeah, so if you suffer with mental health, I do sympathise. But as I say, it's probably, whether it's because I'm a bit laid back, I don't know. Yeah, it's really hurting. Whether it's because I'm sitting sideways onto the camera, because normally I'm that way and I rest my arms on the table. Whether it's because I've got this camera on and I'm sitting sideways on, and I'm sort of like, oh, that's a bit painful, that thing. But yeah, we'll have a go. Yeah. So when I see people on Facebook and that complaining that it's affecting mental health, you've got to be careful what you say, haven't you, really? Because people will watch this and get stroppy. I know people have mental health issues, but well, I think they're just using it as an excuse, and people get sort of het up in it, don't they? And I don't know. Anyway, we're all fine here. We're nice and calm, relaxed. We sit under pyramid and go woosah. Sit on a little yoga mat with the legs crossed. Oh look, I'm on the telly again. It's a bit blown out today, you can't really see it that well. But on that video, we're wiring up trailer electrics on the old Range Rover. Food is good, but not too much of it. On a yoga mat? What's a yoga mat? Mat. We have got a yoga mat somewhere.
You've got one each.
We've got one. Yeah, that's a point, Tina. We've got one each, and I've never seen you on your one either. Oh God, no! Bloody hell! That would be some. I think all my subscribers would unsubscribe if I put that video on. Bloody hell! Yeah, it would be a sight. That would be a sight, definitely. Pay-per-view. No, Tina, you'd have to be in it as well. You can't have that. You can't just have me on my own. So, I won't get your hopes up for that one, Mick. Fitzer. That's the one. Oh, pardon me. Flipping heck. No, I've got a tripod for the camera. She'd have to join in. No, there'll be no yoga on this channel, or on the other channel, or on the other channel. Oh, dearie me. God, dear. Having said that, when there's a picture of me sat on the sofa, and I could actually put my leg up alongside my head, and my sister couldn't. So I was obviously more supple than my sister. I couldn't do it before. Before I ended up in the wheelchair, I would never be able to do that. So I don't know what's happened there, but I probably still can now. Lift my leg up quite high. Let's have a go, shall we? Oh. Oh, I've not done that for a while. Plus I had physio today as well, so my legs are a little bit. And I'm sat on an air cushion. Can you hear it? Yeah, that's what I said. All the politicians should stand in a queue, get their vaccinations first. I think that's still wiring up trailer electrics on there. I don't know why it's so blown out tonight. It must be because of this camera. Now, politicians at the moment are really doing my head in. Well, they're not, because I couldn't give a monkeys, to be honest. Macron seems to be doing quite a good job in France, although, eh? And that German woman, Angela Merkel, Angela. But old Bojo and what's it, Orange Man, Trump. Oh my God, I'll be glad when they're not in the news anymore. That's all you hear about, isn't it? Flipping heck. But I thought about moving back to the UK and running for Prime Minister myself. But I'm not sure. Sod that. Oh shit. Well, I can't drive the Panda, and I don't want the vaccine. I did try driving the Panda, but I can't get... The seat doesn't go back far enough. If I could get my seat back far enough, I'd be able to drive it. But I didn't have a lot of control over the clutch, and luckily I was in the field. If I'm sat on the tractor, I think I might have explained this in another video. If I'm sat on the tractor, I'm sort of sat up quite a bit, and I can push down on the clutch pedal. Whereas in the Panda, you sort of sat there behind the steering wheel, and I haven't got the strength in my leg. I can't move my foot. My foot doesn't move at all. Look at my slippers. Hey! That foot doesn't do anything. I can move it. So when I'm on the tractor, I can push down on my leg and operate the clutch. But in the car, I can't do it. Or in the Panda. I'll put my slipper back on. So, yeah, I can't drive the Panda safely. The Range Rover I can drive because my left... no, that was my left leg. My right leg's quite a bit stronger than my left leg. And I can actually move my foot a little bit on my right leg. So I can do the accelerator, I can do the brake, and I can drive the Range Rover quite safely. But the Panda, it was a bit of an experience. And because I was having to push down on the clutch and try and stop the car, the handbrake doesn't work very well. But I parked it up and I said, never again. It's not for me. Yeah. So that's why. Yeah. I don't want to be taking that vaccine. Obviously, the conspiracy theorists out there will say, yeah, so it is a shit show in America. All conspiracy theorists out there, the tinfoil hat wearers, are saying that the vaccine has got built-in side effects, so that you're then going to be relying on them for drugs for the side effects. Blah blah blah.
There's a picture of a bloke in a tin hat in a German protest today.
Is that it?
Yeah, aluminium hat with a little aerial on the top.
But yes, so who knows what this world is coming to, and now America are going to war with Iran. Or I don't know what's that. I saw the headline and Tina mentioned it earlier. So the old Orange Man is he's obviously got to come out because he's lost. But
they're also pulling out 2,500 troops from Afghanistan and Iraq before January.
yeah, he's pulling out troops and stuff. I try not to let it bother me too much about what's going on in America because it's right over there. But what they do could affect what goes on in the rest of the world. So it's just like, he's lost. Get the pillock out. Get the next bloke in. Because he seems a bit more sensible. But, well, hopefully not. Because, yeah, I don't know. I don't get too involved reading up in politics, so I know what's sort of happening, but I don't know the ins and outs and stuff like that. But I know if there's something happening in the world, I'll look into it and I'll go for a reputable source so that you know what you're reading is true. It's like I was saying to Tina the other day, it's people that get their news and politics from Facebook and Twitter. They're the ones that are most vocal, that are spouting off about the virus, spouting off about Brexit. I know what my views on Brexit are. Whether your views are the same, I'm not really bothered. We're not going to fall out about it. That's the main thing. Everybody has their own opinions and views and stuff. But it's the people that see something on Twitter, that has got to be real. And then they're just like it's really toxic. They get on there and they're spouting off and slagging people off and this, that and the other. Half the time I'm on there and I just think, what am I doing on here? But then you get another thing on there where someone's sharing a picture of a dog and it's like everything is right in the world all over again. But you know, oh, don't start with religion. I don't know what I would be classed as. I think I'm
I don't think there's a name for you.
no. Can you be an atheist agnostic? I'm atheist because I don't believe in any religion. I don't believe in any gods.
Well, agnostic is sort of on the fence.
The agnostic is someone who doesn't know, isn't it?
Yeah. You're either an agnostic or an atheist.
I think I'm an atheist then. Yeah.
I'm a pagan agnostic.
Tina says she's a pagan agnostic. None of us really know. I mean, I've had a near-death experience. I didn't see any lights at any tunnels. There was no harp music playing. I think it was like Stephen Hawking said, when your brain goes, it's just like shutting down a hard drive. Who knows? But all this religion stuff is... You got to be careful what you say on this one because people get really upset. But it's like, how do you know if someone's religious? Or how would you know if someone's a vegan? Because they're going to bloody tell you. Well, yeah, but I've watched many other channels as well.
Nice one, Mick.
Tina agrees with you because they only ever used to watch BBC. Now, my nan used to watch ITV because she could get up in the break in the adverts and make a cup of tea. But a lot of people don't like the adverts, so they used to stick to BBC. But there's a lot of choices out there, so you can watch as many channels as you like. Now, like religion, I do struggle with a lot of American YouTubers. If you know they're religious, I'm not saying most Americans are religious, but you'll know the ones that are, because they will tell you. And I was watching a thing on YouTube the other night, a bloke that I watch, and he was saying, you know, another lockdown is coming. He's in America. You need to get prepared. You need to do this. And the last time there was a lockdown, he was like really promoting stuff. So there's a lot, you know, we're going to get locked down. You need to go out and buy this and buy this. And he was putting links and he was trying to make money off it. This time, I think he did get called up. A lot of people was commenting saying you're just trying to profit off of the pandemic and that. And this time he was sort of like just giving people pointers. And right at the end, he said, make sure you stay close to God. And I did swear. You fucking twat. Whether you lot are religious or not, I do not know. But for me, if there was a God, and he's got his hands in any, you know, he's got his fingers in anything that affects us down here, he started the virus off. So why would you want to get close to him? Oh,
Careful.
hey.
Be careful what you say.
I know. Tina said I've got to be careful. But it's like I said, everyone has their own opinions. I'm not going to fall out with people because they believe in something and I don't. I mean, like it's like the. Is it the pagans that the moon and the sun,
Well, it's
elements of the earth?
nearly any. Well, they call it pagan, druids, the Egyptians, anything pre-Christianity, Judaism.
Yeah, but they sort of don't pray, or they do pray, but they pray to something that's actually there they can see.
Yeah.
Which, that makes more sense to me.
It's only really the organised religions like Buddhism, Hinduism, Muslim, Judaism and Christianity.
I don't know if you heard any of that. But yeah, all these other religions. And my email is it's in the About Me link section. But it's Ben Elliott 780 at yahoo.co.uk. Door knockers, they're another one. If I want your religion, yeah, I know they might even be watching. So yeah, but I've told her on an email. I'm only going to say the same as what I said in the email. If you want a religion, you'll go and find it. You don't need someone knocking on your door. But always polite to people.
I think it's time for you to suck on a sweet and shut up about religion.
I've got to shut up about religion, apparently.
It gets very, very testy.
Exactly. That's what I've said. If you believe in Mr. Blobby is your one and only saviour, fair enough. Yeah, rhubarb and custard.
Nearly 2 years old.
Believe what you want, but don't force it on people. That's what gets me. And it's like, I'm not going to be able to talk now. I think that's why she's giving me this sweet, to get off of religion. We're all locked down. People are protesting because they can't go to church. I can't remember what film it was. I did watch it. Obviously, I've watched some religious films. And at the end of the film, it came out that God is everywhere. Not just in the church. So you don't need a church, do you? So they're all protesting in France that they can't go to mass and they can't do this and they can't go to the what do they call them things?
What things?
Where they pray on them mats.
You have mosque and
Mosques.
then the synagogue for the Jews.
And synagogues for the Jews. I'm a celebrity. I've never watched one and I never will. We haven't got TV. So, there you go. So I don't know anything about celebrity. I'm a celebrity. I don't know anything about Strictly Come Dancing, Ding Along, whatever that is. I see people commenting about it on Facebook and that. But, yeah, it is getting too deep. So that's why I've come away from that subject. Because Tina says I'm going to get myself in trouble. Oh, Bake Off. No, never seen one. I've seen like bits and pieces and that, and who's been kicked off and who's done this and done that. But no, we haven't got telly. We've got the Skybox somewhere. We had English TV at the other house, but we've not got it all set up here. We have got a satellite dish on the wall. It's buried underneath all the ivy. You shouldn't have given me this sweet, Tina.
Why not?
I can't talk.
Right,
But yeah, so all good stuff. We haven't finished many projects recently. Oh, I haven't said that. We've got the boiler working. The chainsaw's nearly fixed, so that's almost finished. The engine side of the Panda's almost... Oh no, still got to change oil and filter. And I've got a new cam belt cover for it as well. So that's not finished either. Yeah, half a job Bob. Need to change my name. I think once the garage is done and that, and everything's all set up in there, nice workbench and everything, we will get on with these jobs. But it's like, I've been doing these jobs on YouTube now for over a year, and that's probably why my watch time's going down. I've still got it. You can't crunch them though, can you? Because they get stuck in your teeth. So you've got to suck it. But yeah, she did that on purpose.
As soon as people get drawn to God, it's time to suck a sweet.
Why? What's wrong? I'm only saying my opinions and my views. Everyone knows my views anyway. I'm getting...
Have your cheek like a hamster and get on with it.
I'm trying. Well, I've already told you what it is. Hang on, I'll say it slowly.
Do you want me to type it?
Oh yeah, go on then. Tina's going to type it, it'll be easier.
Yahoo, isn't it?
Yeah, .co.uk.
Oh, stop. One capital B. John Elliott, 780.
All little letters.
Yeah, at yahoo.co.uk.
Yeah, 780. Will it not send?
Hey?
Will it not send?
Yeah, it's come through as a ban.
Oh. Tina's trying to send it, but I think autocorrect is causing problems. I thought you had that switched off.
No, it's because I had to go back and delete it because it's got a capital B on it.
Oh.
Wrong letter next. There you go, it's all right now.
It should be coming along shortly. I can't see it. Has it come up on your one?
Yeah, both times. Have you got Mick Ness's Eat Slowly?
Yeah.
Well, I'm after that.
Oh, not on here, you're not. Oh well. I'm sure it'll pop up soon. Every night. Oh, dearie me. I don't get paid enough to do it every night. Plus, we've got things to watch on the telly. After me just telling you we haven't got telly. We haven't got telly, we've got Netflix. That's not Netflix, that's me on YouTube. But yeah, we've got Netflix. So all at the moment, we've got Amazon Prime. Oh. Oh, messages retracted. Yeah, so we're trying Amazon Prime. I wanted to order something the other day and I wanted it to get here quick. It will stick in my teeth, I know. I'm going to have to pick it all out in a minute. And I thought, well, it keeps coming up. Do you want to try Prime for 30 days or whatever? Oh. And I needed to part like quick. So I thought if I get it on Prime, it will not only be quick, but it'll be free. So I clicked yes for the 30 days or whatever. You can share the link if you want. Share it wherever you like. Far and wide. That email address hasn't come up yet, Tina.
Ask his Saab Turbo got it. See it, saw it.
I was actually thinking that about Prime. Because I was on we've got Netflix, and I was watching it, and it wasn't very regular that new stuff was coming out. I thought, oh, anyway, I started watching Ben Elliott 780 at yahoo.co.uk. So with this Prime thing, I thought, well, I'll get the telly rigged up. We'll have Prime on there, set it to English. And nothing really new. I've watched quite a bit of stuff on there, but now I've sort of got through everything that I want to watch. Nothing really keeps popping up. Obviously, we're on Netflix. We're watching The Crown, which is all right. Tina's all into her history, so I think her history goes back a bit further than that, though. You know what she specialises in, kings and queens long ago, but and I don't think it's ever so factual, is it? The Crown.
Apparently this is the least factual series yet.
Well, apparently Tina sent the email, but it's not come up. Whether it's because the chat doesn't allow emails to come, because it's like an address comes up, or whether it won't come up because of that. But yeah, hopefully. I forgot what I was saying now. What was I saying? Oh, The Crown, yeah. Oh, Gmail. I have got a Gmail email address, but Ben Elliott 780 at yahoo.co.uk, and it's in the about info. If you go on my YouTube page, there's a couple of email addresses there. There's a Gmail address and a Yahoo address. They're all in there. Well, it's 5 to 11. Oh God. Gmail or Hotmail? Yahoo! I think he's just winding me up now. Oh, dearie me. Got there in the end. So, yeah, we don't really watch much on telly. We'll have a few films to watch over Christmas, as we usually do. The usuals. Love Actually. Watch that every year. Tina likes The Holiday.
See if battery's not included is on.
Oh, God. Battery's not included. No, I ain't watching that. But, yeah. If we had Hallmark on the telly, we'd have had Christmas films since October. Luckily, we haven't. When at the old house, we had it because we had all the English TV set up. I don't really miss it, to be honest. No, not really. How did you spend your evening? Sat watching someone on a live stream chewing a bloody sweet. Ah, right, that's gone. I'll be stuck in my teeth now. Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, we're 5 minutes off 3 hours. And that's about it, really. Tomorrow, the weather's looking set to be nice, so we're going to go out and, after the nurse has been, and change my derriere, I'm going to go out and take the greenhouse down. That's another bloody story. Oh, we got a clock. There's a clock on the wall up there. That says 10 to 12. No, 12 minutes to 12. No, I think it's because I've on a different camera. Yeah, if I switch to the webcam. Now, because I've got this camera set up, I just rigged it up quick tonight, and I've not done any of the settings on the software to get it onto YouTube. But I can put all that on afterwards. Oh, yes, because normally when I've got the webcam on, I'm talking through this. But because tonight I've got the main camera on, audio's coming through the... I've got a big shotgun microphone on top of the camera, and so audio's coming through the camera, and I've not got to mess around with the mixing desk or anything like that, so it is quite easy. Basically, I was doing a bit of a test tonight to see if I could live stream with the big camera, so that when I set up in the other room to do our Christmas live stream, I'll be using the laptop. All the mixing desk and everything's a bit permanent in here. So we're testing this. I can run it through the laptop, and I'll plug the laptop directly into the router, so we've got quick internet as well. And so that's the plan. But then obviously the plan is later on down the line is to live stream from the garage. Pardon me. So yeah, I've just got to mess about some settings to get all my logos and everything right. And yeah, we'll be as good as gold. This is the camera that I use for my videos. It's quite... Well, it's a bloody good camera. It's probably 2 years old now. But because it's 4K, it's sort of future-proof. I wasn't doing a lot of 4K footage at the time when I first got the camera. It's got the top handle, it's got Pro Audio, XLR inputs and everything, and I've had it a couple of years. But with my old setup, I couldn't get this connected up to the computer. I had a box, and that was like 70 quid's worth of box. This camera wouldn't go to the computer for some reason. The little action cams would, fine. Yeah. So anyway, that's the plan for this. It's just testing it tonight, see how it looks, see how the sound goes. If people say it's all right, I mean, it does keep going into the red, the audio, so I keep getting too close to the camera. But yeah. So next live stream will be in the other room. Might get the Hobbit in it a little bit. She's a bit camera shy, but we'll try and get her involved. And it'll be more of a Christmassy atmosphere next live stream. I'll probably leave it for a month and do another one. I don't know whether to do it. It depends on the state of lockdown and all that kind of thing, whether to do it in the midweek or back on a Sunday. But yeah, we'll have a Christmas live stream. Oh, we're drying out now. So yeah, I think 3 hours, we're going to knock it on the head as well. So thank you all for joining us this evening, talking absolute random nonsense, as per usual. When I started this live stream tonight, I said to Tina, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about, but then I never really do, and I just talk nonsense anyway. So nothing much has changed, but over the next month I might write a list of topics to discuss and stuff like that. We might even have a bit of a live demonstration of something. Who knows? I can't promise anything. So yeah, thanks for coming tonight, and do keep following along our channel, watching the videos. Share it amongst your friends. Yeah, and catch you all in the next live stream. Bye for now.